Can you hear that? Oh, can you hear my fan?
Yeah, you should probably turn that off.
Yeah, if your fan is on, it's recording.
It's off now. Now I'm moist. There you go. I'm moist now.
We want a nice, moist, wet boy.
We're keeping it wet tonight.
Keeping it. Our boy's wet. Our lungs are wet. That's right, folks. Tyler's got to come with an Anamorphin time. Whoopsie daisy. I gave Nate COVID.
Yeah, you know what? Like, it's not the first thing you've given me. Won't be the last thing you'll give me.
So this is my mea culpa to everyone out there that thought I'd never give Nate COVID. I was wrong.
Yeah, you were wrong.
I was wrong.
I thought you were a good friend. It turns out you're a COVID friend.
I thought I was a good friend. I thought I cared. I thought I was a good nurse who wore PPE. Turns out someone pulls your PPE off and vomits COVID puke all over you. You get COVID.
They can't tell you their names. They can't tell you where they live, but in the mid to late 90s, these 5 teenagers can turn into animals to fight an invading army of evil brain slugs. 5 dumb teens are the only thing standing in the way of complete annihilation. This is Anamorphing Time with Nate and Tyler.
Get your hand off my girlfriend, you yerk-brained bastard!
This is for Daddy. Make it like half the bottle.
Catherine Alice Applegate wouldn't want this. Doesn't want this. Blah, 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 blah.
And like they're like, no, stop shooting at children.
Oh man, being 12 was weird.
And joining us, because this is Anamorphin Time with Nate and Tyler. Would you get that out of the way?
Yeah.
That's Nate. I'm Tyler.
They can't see you point.
I do it for me.
You just say, that's Nate.
That's Nate.
That's Nate.
Like, Nate, say something. That's Nate.
Hey, it's me, Nate.
That's Nate. I'm Tyler. This is Anamorphin Time. Joining us today, we have internet dude, Twitter meme lord.
Yeah, he wanted us to call him a meme lord.
He said, you call me that or I will end the call. And
I did. It's
we're hoes. We need our wettest boy here. Joining us today on Anamorphin Time, breaking a podcast cherry, getting his fluid all over the place. Welcome, Twitter's own, the Space Goat.
Thank you. I'm squirting all over the place and also very moist.
Ew, no. Oh, that's I'm hanging up right now. Actually,
Look, just so we're clear, Space Goat, how old are you?
I'm 18.
Fuck.
I'm almost 19. I'm
crime.
almost 19.
Almost 19.
he's 18 and a half, everybody.
Okay.
I wasn't 18 when I started listening, though. I'll tell you that.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We will live long enough to see man-made horrors we cannot comprehend. Space Goat, tell us your history with Animorphs.
My history with Animorphs, that's an interesting story. That is many wines, and I should have prepared more thoroughly before this. But you know what? I'll roll with the punches.
That's right.
All right.
We'll hit you if you do bad.
In a good way or a bad way?
Whatever you want, wet boy.
All right. So what happened, the story goes...
Why are you wet? Hold on, wait.
The anxiety makes him wet.
I said I turned off my fan. Okay? It's very hot here, okay?
He did it for you, Nate.
Yeah.
For your audio
I'm
quality.
wet
He
for you,
did it
Nate.
for you.
Nate, I'm wet for you. Also, I'm glad you said your names at the start because I get them mixed up all the time.
I just wanted to clarify that we're referring to him as the wet boy.
Yeah, Space Goat, the wet boy.
The wet boy.
Okay.
Twitter's wettest boy.
And
is
now,
what we call him.
now we
There you
know
go.
why he's wet.
That boy be dripping in slime and
That's
goop.
true.
Okay, so you were saying about your history with Animorphs before I rudely interrupt you with that tangent about how wet you are.
Listeners, he is wet.
If you could see
Glistening.
if you could see my camera, you'd see like the bubbles on the screen. I'm like camera.
It's like when you start your car in the morning, it's cold, it's fogged up.
Yeah?
It's like that, but with steam.
He's human vapor lock.
You know, we had a lot of fun tonight, but there's nothing funny about vapor lock. It's the 3rd most common cause of car stallings. So please, take care of your car and get it checked. I'm Joe Namath. Good night.
Space Goat, we're so sorry. Please tell us your history of the Animorphs. We'll shut the fuck up and drink.
I did not read Animorphs as a kid, but I did read...
You are a kid! You're a child!
I didn't read Animorphs in my, fucking infancy or some shit. But I did read Goosebumps. So what happened was there's a YouTuber I watched who did reviews of Goosebump books, and like earlier in his career he did Animorph books. So that's how I got into it, as I discovered him through that channel. But I was at a point in my life, it was like just when the pandemic had started, actually. So I was very isolated. My parents like just said like, hey, we're getting a divorce. I'm like, oh, it's a fun time. And I also like hurt my knee later, like in that same time period. So it was a very emotional time, and I discovered Animorphs.
Yeah, boy really needs his knee.
Yeah, the knee was very important.
Very important.
He needs it.
I guess,
Jesus.
Tyler, since you're a nurse, I can share what happened. What happened is like, there's like, what's it called? The bone to bone? The fucking ligament or whatever.
Yeah.
It pulled, like the one that runs from the inside of my femur, it like attached to my patella. It pulled off part of my patella. So the ligament was fine, but the patella broke.
Is it still moved? Because sometimes those just never go back.
Well, I got surgery.
Okay.
And they put
so
a bone
what you're
anchor
saying
in.
is your family has money.
Had money. Apparently had money.
Well, my dad had money, and then the divorce happened. So.
Yeah, side with mom always.
Well, I live with my dad, but I mean,
yeah. Well, so two things spring to mind. One, Animorphs is older than you, and two, what about these stories resonates with you as an 18-year-old person? Because they're very of the time, very 90s.
Yeah, that is interesting. Like, there's sometimes where it's like I don't relate to that at all. What really got me into it was Rachel and Tobias, like their dynamic and their relationship. That's why this book is the one I chose. Well, I actually wanted to do book 29, but somebody told me I couldn't guest star with who actually did that? Who was the guest?
I don't even remember which one that was. Space Goat, we don't remember anything that happens on this podcast.
I live day by day. I really can't remember anything.
Nate has to live day by day because I gave him COVID and he could die.
That's right. I'm now deep within the brain fog of war. I know what is neither behind me nor ahead.
Nate has the entire manuscript of the book like taped to his glasses so he can look at it because he can't remember anything.
It's Google Glass.
Oh,
I still have Google Glass.
But you asked me what, like, I mean, yeah, they're very adult books. Like, this book in particular, there were times where I was like, man, if I read this as a child, I'd be, like, terrified and traumatized.
Yeah, it did that, for sure.
Oh,
but
yeah,
also...
You read this as a kid, I guess.
I did, yeah. So, we're here with Animorphs number, what, 43?
43.
Yeah, 43.
Yeah, 43.
We should probably get better at this at some point.
What, numbers?
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at numbers,
That's why
you guys.
I'm glad you counted me in earlier, because I can't count.
I feel like this is like some sort of test.
Oh.
The test, book number 23.
43.
43.
Jesus, this is...
Tobias is about to face his biggest fear.
Yeah.
So the cover is kind of throwing me off a little bit, and it threw me off when I looked at it, because, like, that's not Tobias. Tobias is not a boy. He's not a boy with frosted tips.
Not in this book.
I did research.
Oh.
I did.
College boy.
I know. Me and my research, I've been writing many a paper, and I got this bad boy dialed up. They can't see it on the podcast listeners, but,
He's holding paper. I can confirm that he's holding paper.
He is holding paper. He's only writing on every other line, so he's definitely in school.
Yeah, so the beloved Tobias, the model, the reason, like the boy you see on like The Encounter and like the earlier books, the story goes, and I'm stealing this from that same YouTuber that got me into Animorphs, actually. I had to like go over and find his like 10-year-old video. But what happened is they had a model that like Scholastic was contractually bound to use, but then he dyed his hair like right before like the photo shoot or something. So that's why on all the covers he's got brunette hair. But for this guy, I'm gonna take this directly from the Wikipedia.
Jesus, you came prepared.
So for this book, the kid is different. It's not the same kid we know, and he has blonde hair. That's quite interesting now, isn't it?
Yeah, he also looks 12.
He does look... He looks 8. This kid looks 8 years old.
Yeah. He looks dazed and confused. I don't know.
Like, I usually empathize with Tobias, but I look at this child model and I want to bully him.
No, yeah.
Like, fuck you little brat.
Yeah. But,
steal his puka chain necklace.
So this book, I'm going to read directly. I'm stealing this. Plagiarizing. Great college student. All right. This book featured a new Tobias cover model. The art director for Animorphs shared this story with us about the discovery of the new Tobias.
Ooh.
We couldn't find a kid in time for the shoot, so the photographer asked the agency to send over any old kid to stand in. Our artist, David Mattingly, would alter him digitally to fit the character.
Yes! Do it in post,
David Mattingly,
No, that's
king.
not that. That's not the best part. Okay. Well, a boy shows up out of nowhere, skateboard in hand. He lives in the neighborhood, and a knit hat pulled down and practically in his eyes. When he pulled the hat off, we knew we found the perfect Tobias.
They actually picked a poor kid and brought him in.
Yeah. This kid is like a fucking toddler, like wandering on the street with his skateboard, and they're like, "You want to be on a cover?
Kid, you got the goods.
Let us take pictures of you in our room."
Here's the thing that really bothers me. He doesn't need to be there.
No, he doesn't.
He's not part of any morphing. He's just kind of standing in the background like a ghost.
A disembodied ghost hiding behind this red-tailed hawk, turning into a taxon.
Which, by the way, the middle Tobias there rules.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm gonna say
that's
he
a
looked
cool
He looked
bird.
very stout. That was what I thought when I saw him.
Oh, yeah, this hawk's been living large on them squirrels.
Yeah.
The inside cover I also really appreciate.
Also very good.
It's a weirdly tiny, like the scale is kind of off.
It's very off, yeah.
We get like a tiny baby taxon just scooting about, and I assume that is Rachel in the
No,
back.
that's Taylor behind
So you think that's Taylor?
I think that's
You
Taylor.
think that's Taylor?
Oh, I absolutely
I think it's
do.
Rachel.
It would make sense if it was Taylor, but it looks like Rachel.
That looks like Rachel.
Because they're not going to go off and find a Taylor model, Tyler. It was hard enough to find just a kid.
Taylor and Rachel have a lot of the same features.
They
It's
do.
just,
Oh,
They
yeah.
do.
it's almost like that's intentional.
We should talk about that. Talk about that in a bit. Why are you making fun of the book? You like this book.
I love this book.
You told me this was like one of your favorite books. And I got
It is
very-
one of my favorite
I
books
got
in the
very
series.
nervous.
Okay, so here's the thing. Spoiler alert for my conclusion.
Spoiler alert for Nate's heart.
This is my favorite Animorph book.
So far?
So far, yeah. This is
Really?
number one.
This did it.
This is number one, baby. It made it there. So let's talk about why in chapter 1. What's happening in chapter 1?
Well, hold on. Before we get to chapter 1,
Oh.
no, we have to do this because if we don't talk about it, they'll fucking shit all over us. So this
Who's
is
they?
all these little dweebs that love us and that I love back that I only insult because I don't know how to genuinely express love. Like, I respect Space Goat for coming on a podcast with two middle-aged men when he's fucking 18. Like, I can't tell him that. I can't even look at the camera, but I do respect the fucking guts it took for him to do that, and here he is. But the author's wishes to thank Ellen Guru for her help in preparing the manuscript.
Did you say
Ellen
Guru?
Guru. Ellen Guru.
It's Guru.
Guru. I don't know. It's
I'd
French.
say it's Giroux.
Guraux.
Giroux.
Guraux.
I actually have French.
Ellie Grox.
Yeah, Ellen Grouch.
Ellen Gross.
So she also did the Tobias torture book.
She
Okay.
did.
So this is a direct sequel. She got to write Taylor twice, and she also did the Jake book where it's all a nightmare. Future Jake is also her book.
I haven't read
So-
that book yet.
Oh my god, it's so good. Space Goat, you're in for a treat. Heavy hitter here, Ellen Guru.
Ellen.
Yeah.
She's got some bangers coming up too.
I would argue, though, that all Tobias books are torture books. But that's just me.
Well, yeah, either they torture him or they torture our hearts.
Yeah, that's right.
So Nate, please hop into chapter 1. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I'm going to do a cute little bird hop into chapter 1. Tobias, we cut to Tobias flying around in his meadow, right?
Uh-huh.
He sees a shrew, and he says this. A shrew stepped out from the burrow. It loitered nervously, sniffing the moisture. We had the same thought, me and that shrew. Hunker down against nature's wrath, but fill your belly first. I was higher on the food chain. I tucked into a dive. It is eat or be eaten, Tyler. Here in Animorphing Time.
I'm glad the shrew is with us spiritually because he is also sniffing the moisture.
Jesus Christ. We did this. We did this.
You did make me wet. Just to let you know. You totally did. You made me turn the fan off.
My talons struck, embedded, and squeezed, drained the life instantly. Wonder what it's like? Dig your fingernails into too ripe peach. Rip sections off with your teeth. Gulp them down without chewing. The kill is something like that. So we already just kind of start with, like, Tobias just taking lives, being part of the food chain. This book has a heavy theme of eating.
Yes.
Oh my god. Okay, I wrote down in my notes. So the way I took notes for this episode was I just wrote in the margins of my book. So I underlined the part about gulping them without chewing, and I wrote how many children choked reading this book. Like they read
like
that
statistically, there's at least one out there that probably choked and died while
Like,
reading.
I want to be like Tobias. And they're dead now.
and they're like, yeah.
So, and then he follows it with this thought, just his normal day. This is his day-to-day Tobias. I don't think about the kill anymore. I'm Hawk and human. I'll explain that later. Just trying to understand that the Hawk must feed the human. It has to happen. I don't think about it anymore. That's a lie.
You vile little bird. Do you realize what you've done? Do you realize what you've become? You're trapped. You have to live out your life as a bird.
Her name was Tyler. My Yerk tormentor, her voice screeching, bruising my ears, tormenting me after every kill. Other times, too. Still, after all this time. And then we cut to a boy's lost. So this is just kind of to remind us that, hey, there's another voice in Tobias's head.
Yes.
That is always ever present. And
And
her
it's
name,
me,
her name
Tyler.
Her name is Taylor.
Taylor.
Nate, why'd you stop reading? Because you skipped like one of my favorite parts, was just flonk, flonk, flonk.
Because it's the sound of a helicopter.
Because it didn't relate to the previous thought. It's just, all right, we need to get this going.
All right, from now on, we'll do Space Go. We'll do all the sound effects you want us to do.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, special request.
You have to make the exact noise listed in the book. You can't like make it up.
Yeah, that's what we did.
I know. No, I did.
So, right, well, here, since we all love this book now,
yeah.
Space Go, why don't you tell us about little Bobby McIntyre?
Well, he's deaf.
Anything else of significance?
I don't remember.
Just a deaf kid.
Like, why do we care about Bobby McIntyre?
I said, okay, so I don't know. He's just kind of some kid that got lost.
So, Bobby McIntyre is trapped in a hole just screaming his hands off.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so like little Bobby McIntyre fell down in a hole. Okay, here's a real question.
Yes.
Because this is something I barely remember.
Okay.
Space Scope,
Yeah.
do you remember any stories about a kid being trapped in a well? Like news stories at all?
Oh, news stories? No, I don't read the news.
What about the balloon boy? Do you remember the balloon boy?
I remember.
Not the one from Up.
I've heard.
He was a balloon old man, and he was very sad.
I know stories of like children getting trapped in like a bouncy house and it blowing up into the air, but I don't know about a balloon.
What the fuck?
No, there's stories of like children in like a bouncing house, and like the wind picks it up, and they get picked up with the bouncy house, and then they die because they're up in the air.
See, we don't have that. Nate and I growing up, it was always little Timmy fell down a well.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that before.
If you're a child, there's so much danger, you should be afraid.
Yeah,
that was like always
quicksand, wells,
strangers
strangers
will get you. Guns will get you.
Yep.
That one's kind of true.
I'm pretty
drugs.
sure my mom almost died in a cistern well.
Get your mom on. Hey, is your mom still single? Let me meet her.
No, I mean yes, she's single, but no.
Space Dad. Space. I will be Space Dad.
Space.
Bad
I'm your
target.
space
I can't.
father.
I can't. I see this boy growing up without a father. I need to fuck his mother.
He needs a strong male influence.
He needs me. These kids, they need me to fuck their mom.
Mrs. Space Go, you don't know how wet your son is.
If your mom is half as wet as you are, Space Go, it's going to be fucking smooth sailing for this guy.
Tell me about Bobby McIntyre. God damn it.
He's
So
deaf.
Bobby
That's his only
McIn-
characteristic. It's
No,
the
Bobby
90s.
McIntyre, there's two things about him. He's deaf, and he's trapped in the bottom of a hole.
Mm-hmm.
And the news is looking for him. The park rangers are looking for him. His dad's looking for him.
Yeah? So they gonna find this little boy?
Well, here's the thing. A storm is coming. Thunder is crashing. Tobias is like, I should probably leave.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I remember when I was a boy, trapped, unable to escape.
Mm-hmm.
And it trapped me as I am now. So I'm going to fly into a storm like Dexter Morgan and find this kid.
Yeah, Tobias. He's an empath. He's got to help.
Yeah, empath qualities flying into the woods.
Yeah, but like while he's flying into the storm, his brain goes away back to a pivotal moment in his life.
Yes.
Where he was trapped in the Yerk pool and he became a Nothlet.
Yep.
And which means like he flashed back to this because he's never forgot it.
Right.
It has never left his consciousness that, hey, why did that happen?
Yes.
Why did I get trapped in there? Was it really because there was no escape, or was it because of other reasons?
Right. Did I choose this? Did I not?
It's the central conflict of his character. Is just
He doesn't have an answer, but Taylor does.
What did I felt then at that moment, with the seconds ticking down, with the deadline chasing me? Weakness or strength? You'll never know, Taylor said. You won't know who or what you are when I'm done with you.
So Taylor is answering all of Tobias's internal questions.
Yes.
Right?
Telling him he's weak and that he does not know who he is, just that he's a weak piece of shit.
Right. And
sounds a lot like my dad.
Yeah?
In my head, yeah.
All right.
No, I got nothing else. But I'll be a better dad to Space Goat than my dad ever was for me.
That's right. Because you should always try to fix your children. It's important. But what this also tells me, though, is how effective a torturer Taylor was.
Yes.
Right? Because it wasn't just like, I'll inflict pain on you. It is, I'm going to break your brain. I'm going to replace that voice in your head.
Yes.
Right?
There is no longer Tobias conscience in your head. There is only Taylor.
Right. Only Zoo.
And fuck, what a start.
Yep. Chapter 1.
Tobias flies into a storm to save a child.
Right.
He's essentially trying to save himself. But he don't know that.
Yes.
And it ain't gonna go good.
That's right. So chapter 2, we start kind of
hold on, let's do Space Goat's favorite part. Chapter 2 starts with this.
Okay.
The boom! Boom! Thunderclaps.
The rain is dribbling on the rooftops. That might have come through.
It does.
So anyways.
So Tobias finds Bobby McIntyre in a hole.
Right.
Deaf as the day is long, unable to scream for help, in a hole that Tobias says no one will likely find for months. It was very well camouflaged. Searchers weren't even in the area. But he flies down. He's like, Bobby, shake this bush if you can hear me. So Bobby signals to Tobias. Tobias flies back to the camp.
Yeah.
Basically, looks around the room of the park rangers, sees the guy that says Bobby's dad on his chest.
The guy who's obviously upset and, tired. He's been looking out for Bobby for ages.
Unlike your dad, Space Goat, who left. Just left.
Income.
Nothing. Just say nothing.
I wasn't going to correct you. I was going to let that.
In comes a heraldic bird. Tobias.
Yes.
Ready to guide Mr. McIntyre to his lost son.
Yeah, he looks him right in the eye and says, hey, Mr. McIntyre, I'm a bird. You see me outside waving. Follow me to your son. And the guy's like, yeah, okay.
Yes.
It even says here, Bobby's dad was cool. He looked kind of freaked out at first, but his eyes slowly adjusted to that this wasn't a prank. But once the initial surprise faded, he quickly regained his composure.
Okay, he said, lead the way. Just Mr. McIntyre rolling with it.
Yeah, just because in comes a bird talking to him. He's like, I'm going to help you find your son. I would follow the bird.
If a bird ever talked to me, I'm following that bird. No matter what it says. If it says, come with me to kill the only person you love, I'd be like, okay. Talking bird, you got it.
If a bird started talking to me, I would seek medical help because I'm having a stroke.
Yeah, but you know what? Your son would die because of that.
You're just like your father, Space Goat. You'd leave your son.
Oh, no.
That's why you need me as your dad. I got to drop this bit.
I know. I was like, oh, God, this is the bit now.
But I really want to fuck your mom.
See, it's not a bit. It's becoming real now.
Yeah, apparently.
That's a joke. I would never. I would make tender love to your mother and give you a sibling. Yeah, I'd bust in your mom, no condom, and get her pregnant. I'd shove it all the way in there. Blast. I'd dip it.
Tyler, you just said it. Oh, let me do it. All right.
Moving on.
Are we done? Are we done now?
Probably. Well, give me 10 minutes. I'll get back to it. So he finds Bobby. They all find Bobby. And everyone's like, thank you, Mr. Bird. And Tobias gives them the thumbs up with his feather.
Oh, you skipped the part where he was at, like, there was no rain. Like, there was no rain over his hole.
Right. Because the planet, the universe, is celebrating Tobias's victory.
Yeah, and Tobias is like, hell yeah, I'm feeling good. I made the right choice. I skipped a meeting with my friends to save this kid, but you know what? I did the right thing. I saved a kid. You look at me, Mr. Tobias, finally making decided choices, and the choices have led me to do a good thing.
A golden eagle twice my size, screeching towards me like a wrecking ball. Wham!
Wait.
And there was blackness. I never even had a chance.
So our boy, when he tries to do anything, just punishment.
Yeah, that's the
Make a decision, you get punished. Do something good, you get punished.
Hey, what was the last victory Tobias had?
Probably the date after his life fell apart.
Yeah, he's had like he was able to steal away good moments, but they were never like, you know, they were. You know what it is? It's like runner-up prize. Like he would get like the shitty microwave while someone would drive away in the new car.
I'd say it's worse than that. Someone would get the shiny new car, and then they'd give him a thank you note, and the note is just "fuck you," and then they hit him.
Right. Tobias can never win.
Okay, I wrote on the notes after the golden eagle. I wrote, "It's the ghosted David haunting him."
Yeah, coming right back to wreck his shit as he's done before. That's when Tobias wakes up at University Hospital.
Yep. Welcome to University Hospital.
Yeah, University
we treat birds
Hospital.
here.
Yeah, they treat birds at University Hospital.
So there's some. I love like these background characters. I always love background characters.
These ones are especially good because they immediately have a voice. They're stupid.
Yep.
And just weird.
This hawk's gonna feel that wing, hero or not. When he wakes up, it's gonna hurt like crazy.
Oh, what a weird hawk. You think he needs more sedation?
Do you think that Superbird needs an epidural?
Yeah, because he's giving birth to the future because he's God.
No, I already gave him enough medication to keep him comfy till morning.
So yeah,
hey, look, he's awake. Feeling better, Mr. Hawk? It's like they know he is writing a book.
Right. Tobias writing this in his journal. He's like, I got to spice these characters up. They didn't say all this, but it's probably pretty good.
This is just between you and me. Talking giant hat.
Look, I am guilty of this when I'm home alone with my dog. I will have conversations with the dog like he's the main character because he is.
He is the main character. It's true.
The dog is the main character. Yeah.
So somebody comes in, just some brunette, just some dame, and she says, "Seen the headlines? Father claims Hawk led searchers to lost boy." And then the other guy says, "You da bird."
Oh yeah.
This book rules. We got COVID coughs happening. Space Goat, how you doing after getting over COVID? Because we're 3 COVID boys.
Yeah.
Two
Wait,
COVID men and 1 COVID boy.
Is that why you're wet?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm doing pretty good.
I've gotten like night sweats.
Oh, that's tuberculosis.
Oh yeah.
No, it's the COVID.
Yeah. You get
Yeah.
night sweats apparently.
Yeah, you want to know what I learned from the patient that gave us COVID, Nate?
Yeah.
Here's what I learned. Didn't know this was a thing.
Okay.
This is genuinely real. I learned it talking to the surgeon who was going to take the person to surgery.
Yeah.
COVID and the clotting weirdness that it fucks with in your body can cause spontaneous bowel ruptures, which is what caused this patient to vomit all over me because I knew they had COVID and they just started vomiting and they were they had a neurodegenerative condition. I won't say which, so no one can track this down. But it made them unable to sit up by themselves.
Yeah.
So they started vomiting and aspirating the vomit immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So I either rush out of the room, put a new mask and a gown on, or I turn this human being in front of me onto their side and start suctioning the vomit out so they don't die. I did that one because I wanted to keep the person alive. Turns out that bowel rupture and the vomit is now what's making you feel like shit. But it's okay. They're dead now.
Well, here's the important thing, though, is that the person that gives you COVID, it's like the head vampire. Since that person is now dead, I'm actually free. I no longer have COVID. Right? Because if you kill the head vampire, you're no longer a vampire.
Or they're taking us with them. We're like they're the King Tut, and we're the slaves that got killed with King Tut. And they're going to hell with them.
So wait, Space Goat, you got COVID?
Well, what happened is I tested positive. I never had symptoms.
Positive for having mad drip and
Who
getting all
paused
that
your-
slime.
Who paused your neck hole?
Yeah, who paused? I paused Nate's neg hole. Who paused your neg hole?
I don't know.
That's even better.
Well, see, I can trace it back exactly to one person.
And I can trace it back to exactly one person as well.
Yeah.
Real great.
But you know what's not great, though?
What?
What happens next?
Because the news about magic talking bird has hit the news beat, and that's causing some problems for Tobias.
Tobias realizes... Go ahead, Space Goat.
I was confused by this because Tobias just has the assumption that both the Yerks and the Animals will know exactly where he is.
They're
Well,
at
like,
University Hospital.
They're at University
Was
Hospital.
that reported?
Probably.
Okay,
Man, you
alright.
really don't read the news. Man, your father failed you. I would have taught you to read the news.
Oh, you sound so fun.
I am fun. I fuck your mom.
Kid, sit down. I'm going to teach you how to read the news.
Yes, it would have been reported that mysterious talking hero Hawk is suffering at University Hospital. So Tobias puts it together that, oh God, the Yerks know that. Oh good, my friends know that. But it's the Yerks who get there first.
Of course.
As they do.
And well, here's what really cinches that Tobias is going to be in trouble. Before they leave, one of the fucking stupid bird nurses says this. Okay, Superbird, you stay out of trouble. We'll see you in the morning.
I love these people. I love them.
God, you know what this is?
What?
This feels like Scream.
Never, ever, ever, under any circumstances, say, I'll be right back. Because you won't be back. I'm getting another beer. You want one? Yeah, sure. I'll be right back.
I'll be right back.
I've never
I
seen
mean, you're
Scream.
right. Listeners, I recently got Nate into Scream in a
Scream's good.
big way.
Yeah.
I'm a Screamy, an old time Scream head.
I'm more of a person who likes stab.
Wait, Tyler, you're saying you got Nate to scream?
Easy, Space Goat. I do the innuendo here.
Hold on, he did pause my neg hole. I did not scream though because I'm brave.
Yeah, he took COVID like a champ. He just laid there and was like, give me it.
No, I didn't want it.
I know. And I said, oh, I think I feel bad. Nate immediately went to his bedroom and put on a mask.
Yeah, because I'm not an idiot.
But it was already in him, folks. It is already in there.
And the
Man.
whole week I was wearing the mask. You saying, this isn't COVID. Hey, you don't need that mask. This isn't COVID.
I already said I was sorry. I said I did it. I'm eating all the shit. I bought you a coffee today while you were still in bed.
I bought you a pizza yesterday. The point is that Tyler is a big dumb idiot. He has a stupid brain, and he deserves to get COVID.
I have COVID twice now. My brain is extra dumb.
See, I gotta watch myself around Tyler because he's just gonna have full Bolsonaro himself.
Oh, I should.
Get it like 10 times.
I'll get it 10 times. Oh, that's the COVID fog.
You're gonna, yeah. Hold on. Onomatopoeia. Here we go. Screech. The sound jarred me from a restless half sleep. Who could that be? Hork-Bajir.
It's Hork-Bajir, folks.
Yeah, it's Hork-Bajir.
It's the first of many groups to come get Tobias.
That's right.
Yeah, this turns into a Benny Hill fight real fast.
Yep. In comes a Hork-Bajir. They try to grab the bird cage. Great movie.
Yeah, after they put down the Robin Williams, Nathan Lane, Hank Azaria masterpiece DVD, well, VHS at this time, they grab the actual bird in a cage.
Yeah. And then they start rattling.
I've never seen that movie.
It's not bad. I like the birdcage.
I'm gonna assume
It probably actually, you know, if you want to talk about a movie that's probably aged poorly, I'm sure it is The Birdcage.
No. No.
So they grab Tobias and they start walking out the door. And in comes a group of human controllers.
Start blasting.
Yep. Drop the bird now. And then like a blast fight happens.
And
So
it's, yeah, Tobias even says, I kind of lost track of what was happening. I kept getting thrown around. It's like, oh, this human had me. Then a Hork-Bajir rolled me on the floor. Oh, Rachel's there.
Yeah, Rachel shows up as a bear, starts making a mess of the situation, as she does.
As she does.
But here's the important bit, though, is that the last person to pick up Tobias here is Taylor.
Taylor. He looks up, sees a beautiful manicured hand, a gorgeous arm, dressed very nicely, dressed to kill, I think is what he says.
Yeah.
But he can't see the face.
Yep, Rachel says this. Taylor, Rachel hissed, her voice rough with rage.
Make one move, bear, and your next stop is the taxidermist.
Yeah, right. Rachel leaped, slashing claws. See you!
Taylor seared a hole in Rachel's flank. Rachel dropped, groaning with pain.
Taylor shows up, blasts the old girlfriend. She's the new girlfriend now, and takes Tobias away.
And this really, really fucks with Tobias. Really badly. He says, why me? What had I done to deserve this? Foolish questions, useless self-pity. I was a warrior. All I could do was look straight ahead, into the dismal depths of Taylor's mad, hypnotic eyes. In that moment, I saw clearly. I saw that I was just a blob of mud, bobbing through the raging stream of her thoughts. The stream couldn't be stopped, and it would destroy me. It would break me apart.
And so here's the thing I think about when I think about Tobias's brain is that I see kind of echoes of my own brain because we're both very depressed.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, at a certain point, I kind of get caught in this idea of like, oh, I'm cursed, right? Like, oh, no, it is not like, my actions that are causing this or like just the universe, bad luck.
Right.
It is, no, I have a curse. I will never have good things happen to me. Right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of Tobias's brain right now, too. Is it's like, oh, of course my girlfriend would get blasted, and of course my torturer will just pick me up and take me away.
Yeah, he sees himself in a world with no power to change his circumstances, which is why I highlighted this, because he said, in that moment I saw clearly. I saw that I was just a blob of mud bobbing through the raging stream of her thoughts.
Right.
The stream couldn't be stopped, and it would destroy me. It would break me apart. That's someone who doesn't see themselves as having any kind of power to change their circumstances, which I identify with a lot.
Yep. I'm shit. Therefore, I deserve all the bad things that happen to me.
Yes.
See, you guys had some very thought-provoking thoughts about this section. Below this, I just wrote down, calm down, son.
That's why you're so wet.
Yeah. See, Space, you're going to have a better life than we ever will.
That's right. You're going to live that wet life.
You know me.
Man, my boy Space Goat out there just having no worries. Fuck. No, okay.
Chapter 6. Here we go.
This is so dramatic. Oh, thank you.
So yeah, it's time for a deal. Let's make a deal.
So Tobias wakes up in his cage, surrounded by Dracon beams tied to his cage, with little flashing red lights, and he's like, oh, fuck, I better not move. Then he sees Taylor sitting there eating a bowl of Campbell's tomato soup.
She's sitting there just drinking soup, looking at Tobias.
The most diabolical liquid soup.
Here, let's read a passage. Here we go.
The computer controlling the Dracon beams is sensitive to basic changes in shape. You cannot escape.
Wait, that wasn't true. I could escape. I can morph and die.
Yes, you could choose death.
Taylor said, answering my thoughts.
I've deliberately given you that option.
She paused to take a slurp of soup. Her eyes still fixed on me.
It's menacing when someone's like, I will let you die. Slurps.
Just like down goes the cream of mushroom. Like, it's not like a good soup even. It's that fucking trash soup like chicken and stars or whatever.
Oh God, don't besmirch cream of chicken, best soup on the planet.
No, it's not.
I don't know what that one.
We're not doing soup takes.
No, we are now actually. You know what soup I loved as a kid? Italian wedding soup.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's good as an adult.
I like the meatballs.
Yeah.
You motherfuckers, you put a little bit of milk and some cheese in your cream of chicken, you got you're better. You can go to school, you feel better.
You know what's funny? I remember the first thing, the first dish I made by myself, solo. Mm-hmm. Ninja Turtles, SpaghettiOs in a bowl.
That's equal parts adorable and sad because we did not have those in high school. So you were a child, just a baby boy. I want to be your dad, Nate.
Well, here's the other thing, too. I learned how to count backwards because when I put the bowl of soup in the microwave and put it for a minute, it counted down.
Like all microwaves.
So when somebody said count to 10, I said I couldn't do that, but I could count to 0. That's just a funny little story about myself. I don't know.
Damn. Fuck.
Soup stories. Everyone got some.
We had no chance. We just had none. Wow. Just we built ourselves just out of nothing.
Choose death, she repeated casually. Or listen to what I have to say. She rose, dropped her mug in the sink of a strange little kitchen, and returned to her seat. I have a deal for you, Andalite.
She was so casual, not the Taylor I'd known. What trick, what scheme did she have up her sleeve?
Good, she said, seeing that I had decided to postpone death. It would be too much harder to solicit help from an Andalite who's dead.
Help?
It's true.
Oh, so here we get our Taylor plan.
Oh, yeah.
All right, deal. I have a deal to propose to you.
Space Goat, he's got a deal for you.
That's right. You give me your assistance, and I give you one dead Visser 3.
What do you say to that?
No.
But like it's me, Taylor.
It's Taylor.
Your torturer.
She's hot and evil.
Up. Don't answer now. Let me give you this URL and just go talk it over with your friends.
Oh, fuck, I forgot about that. Oh, Jesus.
So she's like, yes, I want your help. I got a plan. The Yerks have decided we're tired of all this petty Yerk infighting. We hate the Vissers fighting each other. We hate the fucking Council of Yerks.
That's right.
They're awful.
They suck.
We don't like them.
Oh my God.
So I propose we have a democracy. And to start any democracy, like if we, like let's take America. Let's say we see a little country, awful socialist regime. We need a democracy there. How do we do it?
Democracy now.
Democracy now. And democracy now, my friends, is blowing up the Yerk pool.
Fill it with gas.
Shouldn't say that part yet. But her plan is, we're going to kill Visser 3. I did this to you. I'm sorry, my best friend.
What's it like?
You'll know soon.
Probably, yeah. Yeah.
So Taylor's like, I want your help. Come to my website if you want to help me.
Listen, all my answers are there on my website.
Yeah.
I'm going to go. I turned the guns off. Feel free. I finished the soup. So just, send me an email. We'll work on it. Okay, this is Taylor saying peace. And Taylor pieces out.
Yep, all the Dracon beams aimed at Tobias's head just turn off.
Yep.
Kind of a waste of a cool little cage, but whatever.
Yeah. Could have just done the cage.
Could have just pointed a gun at him.
You didn't need so
My
many
dad did that
guns.
to me a couple times, and guess what? It's just as effective.
That's right.
I would never do that to you, Space Goat, my son.
He's too wet. The bullets would just,
Slide right off.
I'm too slick.
redirect the bullet.
It's like the Matrix with a bullet hits him.
I've never seen The Matrix.
The only bullet time in my house was when I had to unload the loaded gun sitting around my parents' house. It's fine. So yeah, Tobias is like, what the fuck? So he hops out. He walks outside because he's still got a broken wing. He morphs to fix himself in the shadows, flies away, and he's like, fuck. She just wants to track me. I bet there's a tracking device on me.
Yep.
He stops on top of a Burger King. He morphs to the smallest thing you can think of, a flea. He's like, oh, there's no tracking device. Oh, okay. All right. Oh, I guess there's nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, all right. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. This is good. She's not okay. Let's go to Cassie's barn.
Why is that scene important?
Because it needs to show that maybe Taylor's on the up and up, and also that Tobias is smart and would think of that because he doesn't trust her.
Yeah, I wrote Tobias is smart.
Isn't that
excellent note taking? You're getting all A's in school.
Yeah. So far.
Okay, yes, Tobias is smart, but also, is it like he's a schemer like Marco, or is he paranoid because he doesn't believe the world? Because nothing good can happen to him.
I mean, it's kind of all of the above, wouldn't you say?
I mean,
that's the point I was trying
If
to
my
make.
torturer detained me and was like, "Here you go, you can leave now," I would also be like skeptical.
Right.
I mean, that's torture. That's torture. That's abuse. That's all of it.
Yeah, the person never leaves. Their presence is always known with you.
Yeah, forever. And Taylor has been living in Tobias's head.
That's right. There is no tracking device. Instead, she's just like kind of uploaded herself into his brain.
Yeah, into his heart, into his soul, into the very thing that makes him alive.
So we need to make a decision. Do we trust Taylor and go through it with her plan? Now, this is a very important decision. Tobias, Jake said, I think this should be your call.
Look, we know this bitch has fucked with your brain in the past, and you're obviously having a hard time, but we're going to leave this up to you, buddy.
Cool. Thanks, friend.
So, they...
And, okay. Jake, is this a good move from Jake?
No.
Why?
Because for the same reason they don't say the word torture around Tobias. Because they...
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Space Goat. No, go ahead.
No, the thing about like them not saying torture around him, I thought was interesting. Because like Tobias is kind of like upset by that. And
He should be. They're talking about him behind his back.
Yeah. They're trying to be sensitive around him because they don't want to hurt his feelings, so he can't be mad. But he is mad because they're treating him like a broken glass, like a Ming vase. Right?
Yeah, the thing we can all relate to.
Yeah. That was my first thought.
Well, like this thing that like Tobias does not like him, like everyone thinking that he's fragile, right? Because he doesn't want to be seen as weak. He's like throughout this book, he's always worried about being perceived as a coward because. Truthfully, he thinks of himself as a coward.
And Taylor's been telling him in his brain that he is a coward. Everyone in his life has been telling him he's a piece of shit.
Right. It's, for whatever reason, he doesn't want the group to think that, though.
Right.
That's the one thing that he has where he can prove that he's useful.
And let's be honest, when Tobias puts it together that they were trying not to mention torture around him, that proved him right a little bit.
Yeah.
That proved, like, that's a shitty thing to do for them. Like, I get not wanting to talk about certain subjects with certain people. Like, that's fine. But when it's pertinent and at hand and you go out of your way not to mention it, when it's something you have to address, you have to address it honestly.
Yeah, but that is a top tier level amount of emotional security where you can tell someone, hey, I know that you're still sensitive about the torture you went through, but we should bring it up.
Yeah.
Like, nobody wants to do that. It's such a, like, that's a varsity level amount of emotional maturity where you talk to somebody who's been tortured about their torture.
Right. And let me be clear.
Okay.
I'm going Obama. That'll make me like your dad, Space Goat. Let me be clear. We tortured
My
him
dad's
twice.
not Obama.
No, but Obama's very fatherly because, he abandoned the country. He promised us good things and then never delivered.
Oh, okay.
And now he's just off, doing nothing, like all dads. But no, like, yes, it takes a varsity level of emotional intelligence to talk about all this stuff. And there's no way these kids would ever be able to do that. So this is a very complicated, but I also think very accurate bit of writing in covering how sticky and awful this is, because Tobias is going to feel bad, should feel bad. And these kids handled it how kids would handle it.
Right.
And adults.
And some adults. I don't think you or I would do that. I think you and I can be emotionally honest with each other.
Yeah.
And when we'll cover it in Simpsons jokes, but it'll be true.
All right, then.
Space Goat, do you have this level of emotional maturity?
I have relatively low emotional intelligence, I'd say. What this hyper... I'm 18. What this
A child of divorce with low emotional intelligence. I can't believe it. You need me, boy.
Please stop.
That was very emotionally strong of you to tell.
Yeah, you got it.
I can be assertive.
And should stop.
My boy, he's figured it out. My son.
No, what Tobias being mad at their hypersensitivity, it made me think of, this is like echelons below your guys' like level of trauma. Mine was just like in gym class. So I have like shit lungs because when I was a child, there was a lot of like
COVID,
things.
yeah.
No, because when I was a child, long story.
You got COVID as a child. You did. You're 18.
No, when a child. Oh my god. Okay, when I was a child. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. I'll tell a story. Okay, when I was like a very like small infant, this nurse was like nurse accidentally like put like so like I had like 2 like holes on me like put stuff in. Like she took like my breathing tube and put it in like she took my feeding tube and put it in my breathing tube. So she she like put food in my lungs.
That's so fucking bad.
And
We do that all the time. No, I'm kidding.
I asked my mom, like, why didn't we sue? She's like, because we're good Christians. And I was like, oh, okay.
No, that.
But
you deserve to be a fucking millionaire because that person destroyed you for life.
If you aspirate Berber, the baby food, then
Gerber, it's Gerber, you dumb fuck.
you aspirate Gerber. That's cool.
Berber. That's cool. More Berber, mommy.
Listen, when I was growing up, I was poor. We got the cheap knockoff baby food.
We got Berber from the grocery outlet.
That's right. We fucked up. We had to eat cloth.
No, but where I was going was because my lungs are shit, and for gym, because of the presidential like test shit, you have to run a mile, and I was always the last one because bad lungs. So
Me too, but I was fat.
I would be like the last one. Everyone would be like cheering for me, like, "Yeah, you got this, space goat." And I hated them for it because I was like, "Don't cheer me, I'm in last."
No. See, you say your trauma is echelons below us. No, that's just as bad.
It is a competition. There are winners.
No, wrong, incorrect. No, it is not.
Sounds like loser talk to me.
My son, fight for me.
Chapter 8. Yeah, so they go to the website, which, by the way, what is the website?
EarthIsOurs.com.
Yeah, EarthIsOurs.com. We looked it up. Listen, if you want to buy Earth Is Ours, apparently it's like almost $3,000.
Yeah, you need $2,500.
I wrote it down. I wrote down $2,495.
Yep,
it's a lot of money. This kind of dates this book though because apparently Axe had a hard time getting the internet.
Yeah, Axe hacks Cassie's cell phone to get AOL.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is a sentence that hurts me.
Cassie's like, "You can fix my phone, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, I can do that."
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. It was the phone it was like the
emergency phone.
The emergency
like
cell phone.
you can play Snake on this Nokia if you do all your chores.
Right. Different time.
The oldest back I've gone on the internet is like one of the first websites. Okay, so like my dad, he sat me down and he's like, "This is a computer." This is when I was very young. He's like, "This is a computer. You can like look up stuff." So I looked up like jigsaw puzzles, and I found a website which is still live to this day. It's called JigZone. It's like
what? I don't like the name of that website.
What's on jigzone.com?
You can do puzzles, many different cuts. My favorite one is the 58 states. It's great.
I was expecting some sort of Saw reference to show up, but no.
Oh, no.
You would like to play a game. It's jigsaw puzzles.
Yeah, JigZone. I love JigZone.
Welcome to the JigZone. We play fun games here.
Yes.
It's the fun sequel to Saw.
I would have showed you much cooler websites if I were dad. I would have showed you Newgrounds.
I have this little game I like to call Let's Be Sexy Ladies.
Which is a game Tobias has mastered.
That's right.
True.
Because Tobias, before he left, the clutches...
Yeah, when he was getting taken in the cage, he like grabbed onto Taylor and acquired her.
Smart. Because he sent the message to bandits saying, like, okay, we're in.
The gang said, yeah, we'll do it. We'll meet you at the Borders bookstore. Space Goat Borders used to be a bookstore.
Oh, it still is.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
That's it, yeah. It's not just those things we need to open up. Animorphs left is a...
I said this was like...
Open Borders.
I said this plan to be a really good way for, like, a child to be stolen. Like, meet me at the Borders. And we'll talk about our plan to take over the world.
Yeah, we'll share an iced coffee.
Yeah.
So they...
Oh, it's not what I meant. That's funny, though.
They decide... Tobias is like, okay, I'll talk to Taylor. We're going to meet at the Borders. We're going to hear her out and go from there. Mm-hmm. Tobias is like, I know just the morph. So he morphs Taylor.
Right, he does the like Sailor Moon, gets naked, and then like rainbows show up, and he morphs into a beautiful lady.
As we all do.
Rachel dresses him, which I think would be kind of, like there's undertones here that are not being addressed.
Yeah.
It's the 90s.
Yeah.
Because he goes to the mall, he meets up with Taylor. Taylor says, very clever, right?
But how'd you acquire me?
Well, let's just say that Yerks are the only one who has scientists. We Andalites are pretty smart.
She's like, yeah, okay, whatever, fucking magic bird. Because, like, she knows something's up with Tobias, but she just kind of doesn't really press on it. So they order a coffee at the Borders, and here's what happens. The high school kid behind the counter stared wide-eyed. 1, make that 2 very attractive girls were closing in on him.
What can I get you?
Decaf latte with skim.
Taylor purred. The kid turned to take my order. I smiled and he almost fell over. It was crazy to have such power. I'd been on the receiving end before. I'd just never been the source. Is this what Rachel experienced? Was this part of what made her so brave?
You know what I wrote in my notes?
I hope this doesn't awaken anything inside of us.
Right,
So
I sure hope I don't.
I wrote down 2 things in my note. At the very start of the chapter, I wrote down woman alert. And then next to I'd been on the receiving end before, I wrote down Tobias confirmed bottom.
Jesus Christ, Space Girl.
Yeah, like Tobias has a lot of things he's sorting out.
Look, if I knew an adult Tobias who was a femboy bottom, I'd probably be sliding into those DMs.
But like, I kind of say this honestly. Like,
Tyler, I'll be on the lookout on campus.
Tobias is a little curious.
Yes, this is my son. Bring me home a college femboy.
Isn't that that's like basically the plot of Changeling, right?
Fuck.
I need a femboy bird boy. Right now.
I need a fembird boy.
Fembirdboy boy looking for a hot bear.
Yeah. Hot bear looking for fembird boy bottom.
Man, I am not going to tell my friend that I was in this episode. Because he was
goddamn better.
He's like,
you tell your father so he knows who's coming for his ass. No, I'm coming for my femboy's ass and your mom's pussy.
Coming in his ass.
Yes, that's the joke.
Demon.
I'm going to put my worm in there till it pukes. Like a tax on shit and dirt. That's how I'm going to come in your mom.
Oh, do you have anything to say about this part?
No, because every time I have nothing to say when he makes those jokes. I'm just deadpan silence.
No, so Tobias learns that it feels powerful to be pretty.
Yes.
I don't know if the girl thing necessarily plays into it. I'm sure it does.
They make no comments on that though. Tobias is never like, "I'm a girl?" ? He's just like,
it's
okay.
Hard,
like he's
it's hard for me
it.
to relate because I've never made anyone nervous because of my looks.
Really, it's great. I do it all the time. You want me to do it right now?
Yes.
Sure.
Space Goat, look at this dick. I'm not
He looks a little nervous.
No, he suddenly dried up.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's dry. Dry as a sandpaper.
Ooh, even better.
The desert.
Oh.
So this is okay. So they're hashing out the plan. What is Taylor's plan?
Taylor's plan. Space Goat, what is Taylor's plan?
Fuck. Like in general?
Yeah. What does she propose to?
Yeah.
What does she propose?
She's like, okay, you're gonna turn into taxons and dig a hole from like this place where there's natural gas to the York pool, and we're gonna blow it up.
She's fracking it.
Yeah.
Bitches be fracking.
That's right. She's gonna frack the natural gas into this Yerk pool and hold it hostage. Haha!
We did it.
Right?
And Tobias is like, okay. So
and she's like, well, here's the great part. Don't listen to her.
What the fuck?
Oh,
that's when Tobias realizes that Taylor and the Yerk and Taylor are fighting.
Ooh.
yeah.
Which was not the case in the last book, because Taylor and her Yerk were one. Like
Right.
Tobias and the bird, they were one.
Because she was a voluntary controller. She signed up for this.
She did.
Yeah.
She asked for this.
That's right. But now, for some reason, she is not on board. Why is that?
I wonder why.
I don't know.
Foreshadowing.
Oh, well, I mean, it's implied that like the Yerk's being sus. I don't know.
Yes.
Well, yeah, there's that, and also just like, last book, Tobias kind of let her live a little bit, saved her life.
Yeah.
Maybe that turned the human side onto Tobias' side for a little bit.
Right. I mean, sure, it could be that. Or, here's my theory. Tobias is like, that was weird. Oh, well, better tell my friends the plan. This is someone who has been tortured and abused by Taylor.
Yes.
Still under their spell. Because this should be the sign right here saying, don't trust this plan. But Tobias doesn't hear that because he hears Tobias's plan. In the very next chapter, he explains the plan to the Animorphs point by point. The previous chapter, the chapter ends with Taylor saying, here's my plan. And then it cuts to the next chapter of Tobias explaining the plan point by point to the Animorphs. I think this is very stealthily, sneakily great writing that they make Tobias Taylor's mouthpiece for the exposition. She is so in control of him that he's explaining her plan to them. And I think that bit with Taylor's yerk and Tobias not running away saying, oh, this is a trap, was control that Taylor has over him. Am I overthinking this? Probably. I also think it's a very well-written book.
Yes, it is.
Ellen
Giroux knows what's up.
Yeah, Ellen Giroux. Hey, Ellen Giroux, if you want what Space Goat's mom's going to get, hit these DMs.
So, let's just say this. It was a great decision for Jake to say, Tobias, you got this.
Right.
Of course.
This book is firing on all cylinders.
So Tobias just goes right back and explains the plan, and they're like, yeah, no, this is a cool plan. Cool plan.
But not so much for Cassie.
Oh, yeah.
Cassie, they'll roll their eyes and look at Cassie, and Cassie says this.
They're not all like Visser 3. We know that. Some of the Yerks and controllers are just kids like us. They never had a choice. They participate or they're eliminated. And it's not like they get the information they need to make an informed decision. If you'd been raised since birth on Empire propaganda, you'd fight to take over Earth too. Axe says, you make an interesting argument, but there are a lot of inconsistencies between what you say and what you do.
Gulp.
How can you make this argument knowing what you've done in the past?
He says, eating nachos.
Right.
All the gang is just very nonchalant about we should blow up this pool.
Yeah.
Ending thousands of lives.
Yes. Yeah. And Cassie even says that's different. I'm not against defending myself and you guys. I hate violence, but self-defense is justified in all societies, unlike murdering people.
Killing slugs.
Cassie is the only one
Yerks. Yeah, she's the only one with a conscience. She says, killing Yerks when they're defenseless, when not engaged in battle, when they're not actively threatening our lives. No, you don't. Why can't you see? It's just not right.
But they are threatening our lives. Not just ours, but everyone, just by being who they are.
Yeah, and why do you think they're at this Yerk pool, Marco put in? I can tell you this much. It's not because they're planning Earth Day activities.
Look, Jake said. During World War II, we bombed factories and highways and railroads, even regular cities. Just because someone's not wearing a uniform or carrying a weapon doesn't mean that they're not fighting a war. We know that this plan is bad, Cassie, but we gotta think about the bigger picture. Which, by the way, is the exact same argument for America bombing Hiroshima.
Yes,
yeah,
Hiroshima.
That's true.
Everything after 9/11, it's no, these Muslims are not people. They're coming for you. They're coming for me.
No, it is specifically because... No, it's specifically Hiroshima. You're wrong about 9/11. No, because they're saying that we have to target the workers, we have to target the civilians because they are contributing to a greater war effort. They're building weapons, they're building
Yeah, yes.
Whereas in the invasion of Iraq, it wasn't about that. It was specifically we're only going to kill these specific people. We didn't try to hide it. In World War II, we said we're going to blow up this city, right? And it's totally different. You're wrong.
I mean,
look, I want to know. I wasn't alive for 9/11, so I can't have these conversations.
Jesus Christ. I wasn't alive during the Civil War, and I know about it, Space Goat. Jesus Christ.
I know what happened on 9/11.
The point I was going to circle back to was that Cassie says they were raised on propaganda. You'd probably believe it too. And when I see Rachel say they're all slugs, they're coming, they're all bad, I see that same, Islamophobic shit we saw. That's
right.
I totally agree that World War II targeting the factories and the cities is completely different and completely accurate here. I'm just saying it's all propaganda, baby.
I think this is. I understand what you're saying, in terms of symbolically, but I think in the book, I think they're a little bit justified in blowing up the Yerk pool. because they're like, I don't know, because I don't know. I'd go back and forth. I definitely get what Cassie's saying, but like, if you want to win the war, you're gonna have to.
Well, it's a kid argument, right? Because they're both kind of like half grasping ideas and throwing them at each other.
For sure.
Right.
Concrete into because you can't argue against either of these sides because they're ill-defined.
Yes, and also because the Yeerks aren't real and the Yeerks are actually just vile, evil fucks.
Right. Any second somebody tries to cite precedent in like a conversation like this, you know that you're fucked because like what? Yeah. They think that what they have is a fact. You can't argue against that because like, oh yeah, no, they did the same thing in World War II. It's like that still sucks is not an argument you could win on here.
Right.
Right. So instead what it is just happens with these arguments is that like Cassie just says, fuck, okay, yeah, we're not gonna like, I'm not gonna convince you, you're not gonna convince me. I have to sit this one out.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, isn't this the first time she sat one out?
No.
What'd she sit out?
She sat out several things. Like, remember when she's like, hey, you're all sick, I can't go because you're making bad choices?
I mean book 19, she just like left.
Like, she does this a lot.
But it's also effective. I mean, it's the strongest form of resistance she has.
It's not. I don't think it's a resistance thing. It is more of she's made a moral choice and she cannot participate. And it's not trying to convince them to do otherwise because she understands why they're doing it. But she's just like, morally, I can't do it. It's okay that you eat meat. I have to be a vegetarian because I don't want to damage my soul that way. Like it's that kind of argument.
And do you think she's? Do you think she's right? Do you think it's effective? Do you think she's good? A lot of people hate Cassie and think she's a hypocrite for stuff just like this.
Yeah.
Because you've killed before, but yet you don't want to kill like this. I'm very smart.
Well, here's the argument that I think is missing from this that Jake should have made is they are an invading force.
Yeah.
Right? It is not like it's less like they are soldiers, but they are colonizers. Right? And if a colonizing occupying force is just ready to jump in there, you have a certain amount of justification to push back against that occupying force. The extent is probably where she kind of doesn't like that. But the point being here is that yes, they are not soldiers, but they are people trying to go over and take your shit and take your livelihood and take your lives. So, yeah, you are kind of justified to, knock them on their ass. In this case, burning them alive with gas.
Yes, killing probably what amounts to thousands of Yeerks and thousands of humans.
Yeah, but in this case, I disagree with Cassie. I think that, it's not necessarily a war crime because they have committed a war act.
I mean, Nate, you're talking about colonizers. I mean, like, the Native Americans fought back against the colonizers, and I'd say they were justified.
Right.
It's a very similar situation.
Yeah, they were just pioneers there. They were farmers, right? But at the same time, you're taking our shit. Yeah. We need this land to live, and you're trying to take that. So taking somebody's right to live is an act of violence. And if they're trying to tempt that, then that's a violent act. So therefore, you can, in theory, I wouldn't say burn them alive with gas if I had other options, but they don't.
Even though I disagree with Cassie, I still appreciate that she thinks about it.
Oh no, and it's totally understandable too, right? Yeah. Same, Space Goat. You and me, we have wet opinions. Hal's opinions is bone dry. How do you land on this?
I'm gonna fuck your mom too. Both of your moms.
Yeah, this is the act of a coward.
No, I think you're both making excellent points, but I think personally I line up with Cassie on this one. I don't think I could do this one.
Yeah.
I don't think gassing and burning up thousands of people.
Well, and the thing is, they don't agree to lighting the match. Right?
No,
it is a hostage situation for them.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct. And, I mean, what Taylor pitched was, once we do this, we'll do it in such a controlled way that we will have control of the Kandrona, and all the Yeerks in space will need to come and deal with the new democratic government.
Yeah, this is the thing of, we trust Taylor, I guess, now.
Yeah.
I have a question. Why do you think Ellen Giroux or, even, the K. Applegate, why did they choose, democracy? Why did they say the Yeerks wanted democracy?
Because I think they think the Yeerks stand in for communists.
Yeah.
Which is just them having a bad understanding of communism. But hey, to quote this book, if you grew up with your entire life seeing American propaganda, you'd probably believe it too.
Yeah, there you go.
Boom! Take that, Ellen Guru,
Yeah.
Kay Applegate, Michael Grant. You made me a communist.
So we have the lightened crew.
Yeah, Cassie bones out. She's like, I'm not going to have any part of this. I'll go so I know where you fuckers are.
Yeah.
Because I care about you. I just cannot be a part of this.
That's right. So they need to get taxon morphs. Why do they need taxon morphs?
Because Taylor says taxons can dig better than any old people. And Yerk and a taxon cannot be trusted.
So, okay, so
they fly to the natural gas quarry, which, a thing they used to have. Axe and Tobias flew to the natural gas quarry. Axe demorphs and Tobias morphs into an Andalite.
Mm-hmm.
Axe gives him a dishonorable haircut.
unsweet.
An unsweet.
Not very sweet at all.
No.
Yeah.
Says, I'm removing portions of your fur. We call it unsweet. I believe you say haircut. I must make you look less like my genetic double. Fine, I said, but be careful, no razor burn. When an Andalite warrior is reprimanded for his conduct, a superior officer removes some of the offender's fur so that the transgression is not soon forgotten. In the ritual of unsweet, the wrongdoer is not punished in the traditional sense. He must live with the constant reminder of error and the scrutiny of his peers. As his fur grows back, he is slowly redeemed until finally the incident is laid to rest and the warrior is whole again. I've had bad haircuts before, but I never knew what to call them. So, Axe, do I deserve unsweet? No, Axe answered. But it is the only way I know how to cut. Sorry.
You know what's great is this is kind of a throwaway thing in the eyes of just a child reader, a baby reader.
Mm-hmm.
But us with our smart brains.
Yeah, powerful adult brains and Space Goat.
That's right. We know that this has symbolic value.
Your brain hasn't developed fully yet, not till you're 25. That's medical science, not phrenology.
Ty, you suck. You know that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Space Goat, you have a powerful adult brain. You're with us. What?
Who are you talking to right now?
Space Goat.
You're talking to yourself.
Yeah, and you and Space Goat.
Of course, the pinnacle.
You'll never penetrate these layers.
I don't even remember what I was saying anymore.
We're talking about the unsweet haircut.
Yes, we're the unsweet haircut. Nate, go on.
So this has symbolic meaning, right? We know this because this author is good and just doesn't throw shit in there just to, add padding. What does an unsweet haircut mean in this case for Tobias?
That he must wear a physical representation of his dishonor.
Why? What dishonor? What perceived dishonor, though? How about that?
Tobias,
weakness.
Yeah, weakness. Yeah.
Yeah,
Tobias's own perceived weakness. Axe is doing it because he needs to make Tobias not look exactly like Axe.
Yeah,
but Tobias is he's internalizing this whole.
Well, no, the story is externally projected onto Tobias.
The idea of things that. I can see why Tobias asked that question to Axe, because I've definitely done that before. Even if somebody thinks kind of high, doesn't think poorly of you, it's very easy to trick yourself into being down on yourself.
Yeah,
right,
exactly. And this book, I think, the point Nate made is an excellent one. It's the author imposing that on Tobias externally.
Right, themes and shit.
Yeah. Good writing.
Right. But anyways, doesn't matter, right? Because who comes in? Who struts in?
Taylor comes in dressed to kill.
Yeah.
Black leather.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Does that do anything for you guys?
Yeah.
I wrote down in my notes, Taylor is ready to dom.
She really is.
Boys.
She was wearing dark leather from head to toe. Tall boots that came up to her knees. Her long blonde hair was tucked into a high leather collar. It was a new look. Goodbye, preppy. Hello, soldier. We stared.
Tyler, when you read this as a kid, did it awaken anything in you?
Oh, most definitely.
Oh.
Yeah, step on me, Taylor. Please, God. Take those knee-high leather boots and just kill me.
How cute. You're scared.
Not scared. We're cautious.
All right, good job, Axe.
Yeah,
Axe gets it.
I remember that.
So she leads them down to a pit where there's a tax. So she leads them to a pit. They jump down into the pit. This is where things become violent. So Tobias has morphed Axe because they want to keep up the ruse that he's an Andalite. Axe jumps down there. Tobias runs into the taxon first. The taxon bit down hard. 1,000 razor teeth shredded my flesh and muscle. He didn't sever my arm and have a quick snack, no. He sucked with iron jaws, pulling me in, dragging me closer to his stomach. I swung my tail blade but lost my balance on the smooth, curved floor. My hooves skidded wildly as the vile mouth chewed. I was caught in a slow-motion wood chipper, glowing red eyes inching towards me. I whipped my tail blade frantically, slashing blackness, missing the taxon. The force of his jaws would rip off my arm. Razor teeth withdrew and I stumbled back, clutching my mutilated arm. I looked up, dizzy, ill.
So
you fucker. You
just awful taxon shit.
You skipped the flap.
I'm not doing the damn sound effects anymore.
I saw that. I got so mad when I saw you did that. Oh my god.
I saw that and I was like, I know he's going to say something.
Listeners, there is a flap in between the two sections that he read, and he omitted it completely.
Right in every time we miss.
Yeah, let us know.
Not to mention the many other words that have been skipped throughout this manuscript.
We skipped the bad words. At one point he says
there are
BS.
no bad words. I hate it.
He says BS earlier in the story.
Not enough.
Marco says it might be BS.
Okay, there's one point where Rachel, in reference to Taylor's like, oh, that jerk. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's what Rachel said.
You crumb bum.
Yeah, get her, you crampon. Just awful.
Hope Chris Grine includes some swear words soon.
Just like the last panel is just Tobias flying away saying fuck.
Yeah, the next Rachel book. Let's fucking do it.
Yeah.
So, no, hold on. Wait. We skipped over the part where you stuck your hand into what I think is a garbage disposal.
Yeah, the taxon's grinding maw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That would hurt. That would suck to have happen.
Gets the muscle ripped off his arm. Axe slashes this fucking taxon. He acquires it and he's like, you should hurry. The taxon is dying. I've spilled his vital fluids onto the floor.
So,
can you guys name your top 3 vital fluids?
Let's see.
Mountain Dew.
Mucus.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, mucus. Black. Was it
black?
There's like
the black fluid that bubbles forth from your soul.
I'm thinking of the humors, right? So
vitreous humor. That's the thing we still have.
You better include soap.
It's not a vital fluid, but
it is for you.
It's a fun
I'm
fluid.
Sure it is fun.
Soap causes vital fluid to come out. Oh no! So Tobias morphs back, acquires the taxon. The taxon dies.
That's right. And then we got some taxon morphs. We're ready to roll. Let's do it. So they all kind of meet at this quarry.
Mm-hmm. Quarry.
Gas quarry.
Yeah, the gas plant, the natural gas store, the natural gas factory. That's what I call Nate's butt.
It's true. And they get ready to go. They get ready to start the dig. We brought back a very important thing that was dropped in the 4th book.
What's that?
Buddy, this bird is wearing a Timex.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, he's got his watch back.
He got his watch back. It is a Timex triathlon timepiece.
Yes. Yes. Very snazzy.
Because they're worried about hey, Max morphs. He's not going to be able to keep track of time. He's going to be a taxon, and we need to keep track of this because you don't want to be stuck as a taxon.
No, you don't want to do that. Happened to Arbron. No good, folks.
You don't want to Arbron yourself.
No.
He's a verb now. You can Arbron yourself now.
Yeah, if you become a verb, your life went either very great or probably very poorly.
It's true.
Watch out, Space Goat. Somebody's going to Tyler your mom.
Oh, God. That means have a cool time with, right?
Yes.
Yeah, what's that stand for, Nate?
To Tyler means to cry.
God,
That's right.
that's awful.
Yep. Your mom's not going to like it.
No, probably not.
Doesn't matter. Let's dig. Everybody, it's time to dig.
It's time to dig.
It's time to dig.
Tobias immediately becomes lost in the taxon worm.
Yep.
So they start digging. So let's describe what this morph looks like, because it ain't pretty, folks. Thank good.
Yeah, it's not pretty. God, so I felt my bones disintegrating. No, melting. All the hard parts of my body, talons, beak, feather shafts, softened and liquefied. Usually when you morph, you feel the firm shape of new organs forming. This morph was exactly the opposite. Everything was dissolving, then congealing into one hideous continuum. I fell down on the cement as my legs melted away, only to be lifted up again as hundreds of cone-shaped appendages shot out of a soft, rapidly extending belly. It was taking on the shape of a worm, long and formless, crystal clear hawk vision blurred. Think about driving into the rain without turning on the windshield wipers. Then this murky vision was traded for, 1,000 tiny fragments of my surroundings, visual shards, like a kaleidoscope image with blurred edges. I knew that taxons had compound eyes like flies. Each red eye is really 1,000 smaller eyes, also not true, each scanning a small piece of the world. What I hadn't known was that taxon brains aren't quite sophisticated enough to put all the pieces together. The mouth formed last, the center of the taxon's existence. The changes stopped. Then all at once I felt it coming, an unstoppable tidal wave riding up to the shore. Insane, insane hunger.
I gotta say, my mouth is also the center of my existence.
Gross.
Yeah, and what's the thing he does right after this? He goes to a magical, wonderful fantasy place in his brain. I was over 10 feet long enough to crawl up and squirm through the hole. I pictured Marco. And the next thing I knew, I imagined him in my mouth. A soft tan flesh, sawed up, swallowed. And Jake, bigger. An axe. He's just like, you know what he is? He's like picturing, like in the cartoon, you know, in cartoons where like you're really hungry and you see your friend and they turn into like a big turkey or like a ham. And that's what he's doing right now to like Jake and Marco and Axe. So what stops him from eating all of his friends?
What?
His fantasy of eating Rachel.
Yep.
I stopped. I heard something. A tiny, insignificant voice of a kid. Tobias, the human in me, was struggling to make his presence known. So as soon as he thought of like chowing down on his girlfriend, no comments.
Not saying anything.
I am.
Let it out, Spade. Go.
Yeah,
Let it out.
What? Was it funny to you that Tobias almost ate Rachel?
God damn it! No.
Almost got his mouth all over her little body and just munched her up.
I was gonna bring this up because you said vor at one point.
I did. Yes, I have said vor many times.
Do you think that this book inspired some children, or like was an influence in some children?
You know, if you have a normal non-vor brain, probably not. However, if you already had the inclinations that was kind of sexy to eat your girlfriend whole, not girlfriend's whole.
You stopped me.
Then this probably did something, yeah.
Oof.
But he's able to not eat everybody, and he kind of focuses in on the mission, and he starts digging down, he starts eating dirt.
Yeah, and this is when it gets very funny, cool, and gross.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I was inhaling soil like I hadn't eaten in 40 days. I bit off large chunks, coated them with digestive enzymes, and swallowed the sticky gobs. Bite after bite after bite after bite, the taxon was insatiable. In no time at all, I had excavated a body-sized chamber. Dirt walls grew up around me as I lunged and gobbled and swallowed and secreted. That's right, secreted. I was scarfing down pounds per second. I was the dump truck hauling away the excavated dirt. I was an all-in-one machine, earth mover, waste disposal system, and that waste, that soil byproduct, passed out of my taxon body as a thick, sludgy layer. A goo that coated all surfaces of the tunnel that began to develop as I tried desperately to satisfy an unsatisfied hunger.
Tobias? Oh, man, what's that stench?
Jake's voice reached me as a weak distraction of vague disturbance.
Tobias, you okay down there?
I ignored him. I just kept eating or digging, just like an earthworm passing dirt right through my system to extract the organic material.
I love that because like when you're a kid, when you think of somebody like digging a hole, you never picture where the dirt goes.
Mm-hmm.
It is always just like they're digging and they're making a hole and the dirt just goes away.
Yeah,
this explains it. We have a reasoning now, right?
Yeah.
And
it gets pooped out.
It gets pooped out, and it gets used in this book, folks. So he's digging, losing his mind. That's when they call him back.
Yes.
He's kind of lost himself. He wants to eat his friends.
A little bit.
A
Very
little bit.
understandable.
And this is when we come to the part where chapter 16, where things get bad for him. He sees all of his friends in their battle morphs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he sees Taylor holding a Dracon beam. My taxon hunger fused with human hatred. I realized how much easier it would be to eat her than to fight the urge. How much easier it would be to even die than face the Yerk girl. This monster who haunted me day and night with contempt, arrogance, power over me. Had it been like this at the Yerk pool, deep beneath the murderous hunger, my mind wandered. Had I overstayed the 2-hour time limit so I wouldn't have to face the simple facts of life, being a boy, living with foster parents, school, Rachel, Taylor?
Now,
So-
before we get to that, when Tobias, he's looking at Taylor and wants to eat her, he says, her soft pink shoulders beckon to be devoured. And I wrote down, that's the reason schools have dress codes.
Yeah. Vor. Back to Vor again. He loves those delicious pink shoulders.
Yeah,
Gotta
if I
cover
see
those
a
up.
woman's shoulders, I may eat her whole.
Same, honestly.
So Taylor blasts Tobias, even though she said she wouldn't.
Yeah, they're all very angry at Taylor for doing that.
Yeah, it knocks him down. It focuses him. He's able to remorph, but he's having that conflict. Because he asks himself, did I choose to be a hawk? So he says, was I a coward? In the wild, there's only life or death. You feed your belly or you die. Success is survival. Failure is death. It's simple. There's no middle ground, at least not for very long. Was I a coward? I hated Taylor because she knew the answer to that question, because she saw weakness in me. She saw it because she was weak herself. People recognize their own kind. She'd sold out to save face, literally. She'd become a voluntary controller and betrayed her own mother because she wanted to be pretty again. It was beyond sad. It was pathetic. Was I different, or was I just like her? I'd trapped myself. Why? I hated Taylor because she knew it was going to destroy her. I rushed forward, opened my mouth, scrambled for her legs. And she just blasts him. So we kind of get our answer there, don't we? About whether or not he chose to be an Othlet. It's not clear.
Well, the thing is, he can't solve that problem until Taylor is gone.
Right.
Because Taylor will always have the answer of, you did it because you were afraid.
Yes, you're a pussy.
Right. So you can never get the real answer. Because if there's a Taylor there, then Taylor's just going to poison that thought every time.
Complicated. Just complicated.
It's complicated.
Yeah.
And also, add to the complication, he wants to eat her. That's very complicated.
I have felt that dilemma before. I understand, Tobias.
Same. Like when I went to therapy and was really working through some shit, it was complicated by the fact I wanted to eat the therapist whole.
That's right.
Right, yeah.
You shouldn't do that.
Don't eat your therapist.
Yeah.
You're a lucky worm, Jake said to me privately. Axe saved your butt. He modified her weapon so it wouldn't fire beyond setting 3.
How
so she was
convenient.
actually intended to kind of like cause more pain.
Yeah.
But Axe kind of, fiddled with the gun beforehand.
Space Goat, what do you think of this bit of Taylor poisoning Tobias's mind?
It is very complicated. I wrote, I think it's very easy to like hate people who you can see your weakness in. Like people that remind you of like things you don't like about yourself. And I can understand like what you guys said about Tobias can't figure those things out until he gets rid of Taylor, because Taylor is like affecting his judgment. So I don't know, it's hard because most of this is just Tobias like questioning himself, trying to figure out like if he's really weak or not. So Taylor's a good like catalyst for that. It really brings out like his insecurities and his weakness.
That's right, because it's also Taylor presents an easy answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's always easier to say, yeah, I suck.
Yes.
Yeah.
At least for Tobias. Maybe some like healthier brains out there. Like the easy answer is to be like, no, I'm awesome.
Yeah. Would someone with some healthy brains write in and let us know what you think?
There are no healthy brains in this Zoom call.
That's right.
No good.
It's like, that's why, like, as soon as Taylor rolls up, we're all just going to, step on me.
Yeah, if a blonde lady with a ponytail showed up in a leather outfit with those boots, yeah, I am a piece of shit.
Yeah. Not Space Legal, though. He's apparently above that.
We don't need to get into that.
No comment is an answer to it.
Yeah.
It's gonna no comment.
Sometimes no answer is an answer, which is what Tobias figures out. So,
spoiler.
Well, they've read the book, I hope. Or no, they'll get it. Whatever.
Doesn't matter. The point is that the gang is very upset that Taylor shot Tobias.
Mm-hmm.
They get over it, though.
Yes, because they need to kill Visser 3. That's what they're there for.
Yeah.
Tobias keeps saying it. This is for, we're going to get Visser 3. We're going to do it.
Right. This is a good decision I made. It's a good decision.
I did this. It's good. And that's when the person who he cares about the most, who cares about him the most, kind of leaves his ass behind. Because this is when Rachel has her bit of conscience, I should say. Stop it, she yelled suddenly. Tobias, I can't get the image out of my head. The way it will play out tonight. A yerk pool full of hosts, humans and Hork-Bajir. They smell natural gas. They feel it pouring in. They look up, confused, puzzled. They start to worry, panic. The smell gets so strong they can't breathe, and they know natural gas can blow. They run, too late. Suddenly, kaboom! A scorching, burning fireball destroys everything it touches. They're vaporized. Cassie was right. They're yerks, I said. They're humans, too.
So, Rachel loves violence, loves doing it. Is saying this is wrong.
Yes, what we're doing is too far.
Yeah,
and,
very surprising.
And I agree. I think this is why it's an interesting question of should you blow up the yerks, because I also agree with the gang, because yes, I think that there's a justification to fight and kill the yerks in that pool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also with Rachel in that gas is an unethical way to do that.
Yeah.
Rachel is an in-person, kind of fights with honor kind of a person, but it's less about like fighting with honor, because I don't care about fighting.
I think this is just like Rachel, like kind of like suppresses these things, like when she's in like the battle and stuff. But this is kind of like her breaking a little bit, like she can't get past like what they're doing this time. Like it's like
I think she just has a code. Like I think that because. I don't think that she's ignoring it when she's in battle, because she flies off in a battle rage, right? That is very true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like afterwards, she's not like, oh God, what have I done? Afterwards, she's like, that was cool. That was a cool thing I did, right? Because I think that she has come to terms of fighting and killing, but she hasn't come to she can't accept the way that they're going to kill these yerks because it's cowardly.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
They're going to die in their sleep. They're going to die in panic with no way to fight back. And so, I kind of get that. It's a veiled justification for murdering a group of people, sure. Because, if you just all give them, knives and say, okay, this is good now. That's not necessarily, a way to solve this problem. But, yeah, hey, there's reasons why we fight wars in the ways that we do, is because somewhere there's this moral line where it's it's wrong to kill people with gas, but it's right to kill people with guns.
Right.
I don't know why that makes me feel bad, but it does.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Rachel's saying.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to bring this up, because it's complicated.
Does this make you feel better? Would it make you feel better, Tyler, if they had guns?
I don't think anything about this would make me feel better, but I mean, yeah, I guess. Picturing a large group of people getting gassed and killed unknowingly does not make me feel good or it's a good thing.
I thought they were going to blow up the gas.
They say they're going to controlled explode them somehow, and
it's a smart bomb. It will only hit the bad guy.
Yeah, it's the good guy with the gun. I don't.
Yeah, it's a problem, isn't it?
Yes.
Right, because I'm with the Animorphs, and I think I still side with. Yeah, they have a right to do the thing that they're doing.
Right.
But also, it's bad because they're killing a group of people that may before it maybe gang pressed into this war, like maybe they here's the ethical way to kind of solve this problem is like you put a little like escape funnel in the pool, and if you don't want that war, if you don't want to fight the humans no more, you go into the escape tunnel and you go back to space.
So
if you want to stay there, then you get the burning gas.
Do you think the Animorph should have supported the Yerk peace movement more then? Because
That would be a way to solve this a little bit.
Yes. God, it's a lot to think about. It's a lot to talk about. We're not going to solve this in this book.
And the thing is, Tobias doesn't want to think about it.
No, all he says is they're Yerks. They're nothing more. All they do is cause evil. I look at this evil in front of me. That's all of them.
Right. Because he knows if he starts to think about it, he'll have doubts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because when you start to think about the human in front of you that you're supposed to kill, guess what? It's hard to kill them.
Right.
When you start to see your enemy as human, they're not your enemy anymore.
Right.
They're just a human.
Right. And so this book, I think, is about Tobias bringing down his emotional safeguards, right? Because he's had to lock himself away a little bit after the torture.
Yeah.
Right? He had to treat things very concretely. Like, yes, I'm a coward. No, I'm not a coward. Yes, this plan is good. No, this is an awful plan. He can't deal with, not a shades of gray, but like, he can't deal with his own brain. Like, he's on autopilot right now.
I think this is his judgment getting obstructed by Taylor. Because I would place like Tobias on a very similar level to Cassie in terms of like being empathetic. But I think in this situation, Tobias just like wants like to do murder because he's mad at Taylor. So he's like not really thinking about that. That's how I read this.
He's controlled.
He's being controlled by a Yerk.
He's a human controller.
Oh shit!
Well, he's a bird controller.
Yeah, he's a red-tailed hawk controller, the only one.
But yeah, no, he's being controlled, and that's why he can't think about it right now. And that's why he's following Taylor's plan.
Yeah, because she's controlling him. She's torturing him. She is it's so well written.
Yeah.
It's so fucking good.
Yeah,
It's very good. So Rachel still is going along with it.
Yep.
The gang is still going along with it, except for Cassie.
Yeah.
And it's Axe's turn. Axe's turn to chew down the hole. He goes down the hole. He shoots down there. He
has no trouble. He's like, I'm very good at this, actually.
And Tobias is like, Axe, what the fuck? Why are you so good at this? He's like, oh, well, there's this technique that they teach us in Andalite school, where we're just breathe and focus, and you can control any morph. Why didn't you tell me this?
I didn't think it would work. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Axe. It's great.
So he gets to his time limit, and they can't get a hold of him. So Marco and Jake turn into wolves. Tobias goes bat mode, and they hunt down Axe. They head down the tunnel. They have to save Axe's ass because
he's too hungry. He keeps on eating.
He's eating himself into a circle.
This is Axe. That's the other thing they'll say. Axe loves to eat.
Yeah. He's like, I'm really good at this. Of course he's really good at this. He loves to eat.
He was born to do this.
This is his job. This is his purpose. Puss.
Don't do that.
They love it.
Space Goat, do you love it?
I don't even know what we're talking about. He just started putting emphasis on that, and I don't know why.
I was doing the Axe speak.
Oh,
Speak.
yeah.
Speak. Doesn't matter. So they get down there. They get Axe to demorph.
Right. They get down there. He's stuck.
Yeah.
He's too fat that he can't turn around anymore.
He did do that.
He's a big fat worm boy. And they're like, all right, what do we do with this fatty now? I can say it because I am also fat.
Yeah, we're fat boys upon Space Goat lithe like a little otter.
What?
He's small. He's skinny. Well, I don't know if he's small.
Space Goat, do you have anything to say about this?
That's my son.
Oh
Don't
my god!
talk to my son.
I'm 6'6".
Are you really?
Yes.
Oh hell yeah! I knew you're my son. I'm 6'7". Oh, I could lift you up, my boy.
Man, I just don't know.
Here I am.
I have
Here I am
nothing.
sitting at a normal 6 foot.
Tyler, I can't carry that. I don't know what to do with this bit. I'm sorry.
You don't have to. It's my bit, which I will handily give to your mother. So they get Axe to demorph. Tobias is like, well, I guess I better finish this off. They drag Axe out. Taylor's like, hey, do you want to join me?
Well, can I describe a bit more? Because like when when he starts up being a taxon again, he has a very good thought here. And I want to describe Tobias's thought because, like, you know, I assume it's just like driving where you're just kind of your body does something like goes to work, but your brain is kind of like on autopilot.
That's dangerous. What you're describing is dangerous.
Exactly. And it's dangerous for Tobias. And here's what he's thinking.
And for anybody who's on the road with you. If you just wake up places, that's bad.
What,
Space Goat, back me up.
What, you don't just go into your car and then, you know, you're back in your Safeway?
No, I don't just sit in my car and then open my eyes at work.
Oh, you don't do that?
Fuck. Please continue. We'll address this off mic.
I drive the same route like every time I drive, and I still pay attention. I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, you just that. I was more aware this time. I was feeling what was going around me, what was going inside of the taxon mind. It wasn't simple hunger. It wasn't pure rage. What drove the taxon to eat and dig was more complicated. It was something I understood, a sort of insecurity or fear. Yes, a fear. Grossly exaggerated, beyond any human experience, a desperate fear of not having enough. A terror of starvation, a horror that is essentially your needs will go unfulfilled. A horror demented and contorted by the taxon's mind until it became a thick, sick, murderous evil. So, he is putting this onto the taxon.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Do you think that the taxons are just like, I'm insecure, so I have to... Well, maybe. I mean,
yeah,
like...
that's how I read it.
It's just like they eat because they never know when their next meal's going to come.
Right. I think he's giving words to something they only feel.
Well, he says that he can describe it because he's been that hawk. Like he
says, I wouldn't have understood or even noticed if I hadn't been hawk for so long. I've experienced just enough of that feeling to recognize it. A whole species of terrified overeaters. It made me almost sorry for them. Almost.
Right. So we're dealing with a good writer.
Yes.
Right. So we have a good writer. What does this mean?
What does it mean?
Right. Well, I mean, I have my idea. That's kind of what it's like. What does this mean that Tobias is like, I relate to this taxon? We both run under the same operating philosophy of being motivated by fear.
Yeah, he's recognizing his weakness in another, and maybe him recognizing his own weakness is the first step to maybe that not being a weakness.
He's giving therapy to himself. He's giving outside perspective to himself.
Yes.
Right? He's seeing, because like that's a common... Space God, I don't know if you've done therapy. You don't have to answer that.
No.
I've done therapy. And oftentimes what they say is like, hey, if you saw your thoughts in another person, what would you say to that person? Mm-hmm. Right? Like, you know, to kind of get some outside perspective on like how you're feeling and how, you know, because like you can't see yourself. You can only like, you know, experience yourself through others. Right. So by adopting that strategy here, Tobias is kind of like, wait a second. I'm operating on fear all the time.
Yes.
Right. And this probably means something. Right? So like he relates it to like this. I wouldn't be able to recognize this if it wasn't for Red-tailed Hawk, but also the human inside him as well. Right?
And this outside perspective also lets him finally understand and empathize with Taylor a little bit, which is the first in the two Taylor books. It says, I dug and thought of Taylor, the Yeerk and the girl, what they'd let themselves become. Was anyone all evil? That couldn't be possible. I've heard that even Hitler was good to his dogs. I mean, stupid. Let me continue. Taylor had been too insecure to face her peers without her beauty. She'd done what she'd had to make the fear go away. Evil, even the worst evil, has banal origins every human can understand. Weakness, fear, insecurity. I understood Taylor. I understood the taxons. The realization frightened me as nothing ever has.
Right? And that reminds me of that beautiful, beautiful line. Fear leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. Wait, what's the dumb Yoda line? Shit, I was trying to make a funny joke.
I don't.
Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
No, like, this is a beautiful piece of writing. Yeah. Would you agree?
Yeah. It's... The prose is good, sure, but I like the thematic structure.
Yes.
Everything is put in its place for its reason.
Yes.
Right? This is here. It's not just Tobias morphs into a taxon because they have to go on an adventure.
No.
Right? Tobias morphs into a taxon is because we need to learn more about Tobias.
Yes.
And Tobias needs to learn more about himself.
Yes.
It's never just thrown away.
No. And he digs to the hole. He digs a hole in the roof.
Yep.
He can see into the Yerk pool. He even sees the spot where he became a Nothlet.
Yeah, that was freaky.
Why are they because they're digging to this pool for reasons, thematic reasons.
Yes. It's not like this book is not about blowing up the Yerk pool. This book is about making choices.
Right. And he's going back to the place where he made his biggest choice.
And he gets, like, thematically, this is fucking wonderful. He gets to make another choice. Taylor comes to him. She's incapacitated his friends. He knows that. She admits it, and she says, you know, you really are a beautiful species. You could join us. You could rule as a Yerk king.
Sure.
Join me. Let me take your body, and we will rule.
Well, because what's her political agenda? She has a political agenda.
She does.
Right? Her political agenda isn't necessarily to dominate the humans.
No.
Because she knows that, hey, humans and Yerks, they can work together.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But what's twisted, what's Jokerfied about Taylor's perspective is that she's like, we can dominate the universe together.
Yes.
Right.
We can kill the Andalites. We can go to other universes and take over. We could rule as kings.
Yes.
We could rule as kings.
Yes. She says, come on, be my host. Offer me your body and you can have anything you want. Choice, traitor, or can I have freedom, I asked. It's a kind of freedom, she answered. Can I be happy, I asked. It's a kind of happiness, she replied.
It's a toxic relationship because if you are so insecure and ruled by fear, if somebody rolls up and says, I will make all your decisions for you, it's tempting.
Yeah, really tempting.
Yeah.
And this is where we get, I think, probably my favorite piece of writing in the book. She says, it's a kind of happiness. I looked back at the rock face, my Nothlet birthplace. I'd made a decision. Had I made a bad decision? I didn't know. And suddenly I realized that I would never know. I know that I stuck with my choice and that I had followed it through to the end. I looked at Taylor. For the first time, her physical beauty was difficult to see. Her hair and her face were covered in dirt. Her expression was the twisted, power-hungry look of a dictator. The only thing that could have made her beautiful now was her inside, and there certainly wasn't anything beautiful in there. I'm stronger than that, I said slowly. You're only out for power and control, that's it. And when you get it, if you get it, you'll only want more. I think that power is your only goal is pointless. And she's like, yep.
Yeah.
It's true.
Like this writer is so good.
Yeah.
The first chapter of this book, he's thinking about when he was trapped in the Yerk pool. He drills into the Yerk pool, sees where he was trapped, realizes he didn't know what choice he made because his indecision is his weakness. Because you said it earlier, Nate, that making no choice is often making a choice. And his first sin in the series, his first mistake in the series was not making a choice and not knowing whether or not he made the choice. And this is Tobias showing some growth in making a choice by saying, fuck you to the person who controls him.
Right. His life is no longer on autopilot.
Yes. He is making a decision to live his life and to fight, which...
And Taylor is like, all right, cool. Well, I'm going to go blow up everybody now.
Yeah, I'm just going to go kill everybody.
Because Taylor sucks.
Taylor sucks. Taylor she was never out for democracy. Right. She was a piece of shit.
She's not looking out for Tobias's best interests. Are you crazy?
No, the person controlling...
She showed up as like leather-bound dominatrix Nazi Hitler. Like she's not here to help you.
No.
And again, because like on the outside, it's obvious.
Yes. Everyone else can see it.
Even the host body said, you are making a bad choice. But he couldn't see it because he was not in control of his life.
No. Just wonderful. Taylor runs off. She gasses Tobias like,
Well, she zaps him.
She zaps him, yeah. But Tobias is like, oh, I'm getting my strength back. Chases after her. Mm-hmm. Wants to eat her. He's like, I was facing the Yerk pool, but I needed my weapon up front. So he turns around to chase her so he can eat her.
That's right.
Yeah, they pass by the other Animorphs who are just... I don't know what happened to them.
They look like they were napping. Tobias even says that they looked like they were napping, and it was very cute.
They slept through the climax of the books. They were just like...
Oh, we got the COVID coughs.
I don't know how Taylor just like took them all out. Like,
She's very good.
She's that, like, it doesn't really matter. She's just an evil entity who gets what she wants. She's powerful.
She's manipulative. Right?
Yes.
That's the thing about Visser 3. He is not manipulative. He lets you know who he is.
Yes.
Taylor will trick you.
As we learned with Space Goat's women facts.
Yes.
Calling back to a bit that never happened. That's what.
Well, I cut out the women facts.
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
bad. He
Yeah.
said some stuff.
Yeah, I'm evil. Like Taylor.
Like, I thought...
I'll step on you.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Get your wet stuff on us, Space Goat.
Yeah, I'll go get my belt.
He's got that drip and not what you think it is.
Oh. So she bones out. Tobias is chasing her when they all get blasted with gas.
Right, because she, like, releases the gas.
Yeah.
And apparently,
Yeah.
like, the gas is so high-pressured that it's, like, blasts everyone
She
down.
runs
to the
up,
pole.
shoots the door, blasts open the gas.
And we have to read this.
We do.
Okay. Taylor blew a hole clean through the metal, and in an instant, reality changed. Whoosh. A pressure wave of natural gas shot from the pipe. It ripped across the chambers and sent us tumbling through the air. Taylor, me, the others, tumbling. Straight for the tunnel. Taylor blew right past me, propelled by the gas, a swirl of blonde hair and pink flesh, and she was laughing.
She's the actual Joker.
She's the actual Joker. She's the Joker.
That's how the Joker died.
Ask me how I got rid of these scars.
God, what a haunting image for the last bit of Taylor in this book.
Yeah.
So Tyler gave me a spoiler
Oh.
that this is the last time we see Taylor.
This
Yeah.
is it.
Yes. I
Taylor
wasn't sure
does
if I
not
could say
come
that or
back.
not.
Taylor's gone.
Taylor's
She's gone. Taylor went away. She doesn't
Yeah.
live here anymore.
She
She doesn't go here.
got blasted into the Joker dimension, which I guess is overdosing on pills. How did the Joker die?
Fentanyl and being the Joker.
Yeah, so that's how Taylor died.
So here's what's haunting about this too, because Tobias even says, "Don't shoot that; it'll kill you too." And she goes, "No, I'm going to live through this. I have metal bones. Like, yeah, I may burn up and this body will burn away, but that's happened before. I will live."
Yeah, it was the skull, right? The skull like wouldn't melt, so the yerk would
Yes.
be fine.
And like, well, that's the thing. She's the antithesis of Tobias in a couple key ways. One is she does not have fear.
Right.
She is confident. She knows exactly what she is doing, and her choices are not made out of some like fear of unknown choices. She
No.
just goes.
She's saving her.
And people like that, that's how they can control other people that are governed by fear, because they have pure confidence. And when somebody is controlled by fear, they look at somebody with pure confidence as like, this is not only a desirable trait, it is the best trait. And I need to follow this person.
Yeah.
So-
It's why someone who's 4'3" has $1 billion and millions of fans. Joe Rogan.
What? I thought it was just weird nipples.
Yeah, he's 4'3". That's what I said.
It gives
His
him
nipples grew, but the rest of his body didn't. He's got a 7-foot tall man's nipples and a 4'3" body.
Have you seen his nipples? He has no areolas. They're
No.
just dot. They're
Space
just,
Goat, look up Joe
All right,
Rogan's
here we
nipples
go.
right now. We want to live on
I
air.
am going to Control Shift N so that this never shows up again. Joe Rogan nipples.
Oh God, I can't wait. My poor
yeah,
son.
I know. Describe them to us. What do they look like?
They look like just like protrusions from his chest. They're the same color as his skin.
It's like skin tags. He has skin
Yeah.
tags
Yeah.
coming out of his nipples.
It's just don't look into those horrors. There are some horrors you don't have to face.
Anyways, that's where Taylor is.
Yeah.
Taylor is in the zone of unknown to horrors. However, the rest of the Animorphs, they're still in that tunnel.
Yeah, and Tobias, like they all land on him.
Yes,
And
because he's a big fat worm.
Because he's a big fat worm. He feels his blood vessels failing. He feels like he's gonna splat. And he's like, "Man,
Well, hold on, wait, don't say that.
That's,
If he's got, you know what that sounds like.
God, okay, fine.
He's got a goop all over.
He's got a goop all. He has gooped all over. He and Axe have gooped everywhere. Like Gwyneth Paltrow, it's just nothing but goop.
All the good Shorms goop together at some point.
God. So he grabs all of his goopy shorms
Yeah.
and he starts pushing them because he realizes he can breathe. They can't breathe
They're passed out because of gas.
because of natural gas.
However,
Joker's
taxons,
gas.
they don't need that. They're fine with whatever. They have trash mouths. They'll eat whatever. They'll breathe whatever. They don't care.
So he essentially puts them in his mouth and pushes them forward using goop.
I'm sure that's an easy thing to do to a creature that only craves food.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Tobias even says the hardest thing he's ever done. He pushes them out most of the way. He feels his legs buckle and give, and he realizes he's about to die.
They were there. 4 weak, dying animals. Mine for the feasting. Their smells, their warmth. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. They're not food. They're not food. They're not food. They're not food. The legs ahead were on fire. My hunger was alive. I slid my friends along the tunnel with my big taxon head. They're not food. They're not food. They're not food. They're not food. After far too long, the dirt gave way to the concrete. It was the sewer chamber. We made it. You ever, get really tempted to eat your friends?
No, they're friends, not food.
Fish are friends now. You remember that?
Yeah, that's why I said that.
Yeah.
For our baby
Was that
brain.
Shark's Tale?
Finding Nemo? I don't know.
Shark's Tale. Will Smith looks weird in that movie. He's a fish.
He's a fish.
He's a dang
What
fish.
No. Yes, I wanted to eat some of my
Angelina
friends.
Jolie is the sexy fish. Watch out for her.
Yes, I've wanted to eat some friends.
Same.
So they make it out.
The gas turns off.
Yeah, that's how they
Yeah.
make it out, right? Because the gas got turned off.
Yeah, Tobias feels himself getting pushed back.
See,
He's
I
not going to
didn't-
make it.
I didn't
Gas
figure
turns
that
off.
out. I thought they just ran out of gas. So
I mean-
I didn't know anyone turned off the gas. I just thought it stopped.
Well, we are here to school you, my boy.
Because the gas was turned off.
The gas
know.
was turned off. They morph bird, fly over to the natural gas station. They see a bunch of maimed but still barely alive humans on the floor.
Read it.
I landed on the pavement, morphed Andalite, and joined the others. We crunched over glass and stepped through what was left of the door frame, moved into the building. Oh man, I heard Rachel say. Oh man. I stepped around her. Her rear legs weakened. Then I saw the bodies, human bodies, maybe half a dozen, male and female, suited to look like gas company workers. Sprawled now every which way. They were alive, barely. They'd obviously been on the losing end of a very fierce battle. None seemed conscious. Yerk's slugs wriggled and writhed helplessly on the floor. Who could have done this? Jake gasped. I think why is the better question, Marco added. Taylor, Rachel said, her voice grim. But no, that's impossible because she was with us. I followed the sound. There was a door to what looked like a little office. I peered in, and then I saw her, sitting with her elbows on a table, her head in her hands, crying. Cassie, crying. She had turned off the gas and saved our lives. She had done this. Cassie, it's me. She didn't look up. She didn't move. Cassie. With delicate Andalite arms, I tried to lift her from the chair. She stood but was limp in my arms. Come on, Cassie. We have to get out of here. It's okay. Everything's okay.
No, it will never be okay.
So this is the part where I cried.
It's very sad.
Right. Because, she's right. Cassie's right. It will never be okay.
No, this is the kid you keep under the town and you beat so nothing bad happens.
Well, it always happens to Cassie because she never joins into these violent fights. So therefore she stays behind. So then when they really need someone to come in and save the day, Cassie has to do the violent thing.
Yeah.
Right? And so it just always falls to Cassie to have to make that choice.
Yeah.
Again.
She may have made the moral or what she believed to be the moral choice here, but her soul is just as stained because she had to break those morals to save her friends.
So why? Okay, so what motivated her to shut off the gas?
So she called the teacher, Mr. Tidwell, who said, "Oh no, actually, on Saturdays, all the Yerk Peace Movement people go to Candrona. Then we're all there right now."
Yeah.
What?
Today's Saturday.
Today's Saturday, my friends are going to blow up the entire Yerk Peace Movement. So that's why she did it, and she ends up doing the most violent stuff.
Right, because she wanted to save the peace movement.
Yeah, she wanted to save the peace movement, save her friends, and she ended up having to do the one thing she does not want to do.
Right. And well, that's her point is when she decides to do violence, she does it because she wants to save specific people for specific reasons.
Yes.
She has to have a very clear, set of guidelines in order to, be a wolf and do murder spells, you know. And so like this case though, is like she will kill to help a peace movement,
and she did.
Hey, yeah, no, good on Cassie. I think that's right and justified.
And they all go home, and we find out Visser 3 set this whole thing up. Taylor was a ploy to kill all the Yeerk peace movement and to kill the Andalite bandits in one go.
I don't like that Visser 3 showed up at the end here.
Well, he didn't really show up. Her plan to overthrow Visser 3, because she was probably disgraced, punished heavily for what happened after the last book.
Right.
She really gave Tobias the hard sell, saying, hey, let me be your host. Let me be your host. We can rule together. We can rule together. Sure, Visser 3 probably said, blow up all these Yeerk peace movement people. But her being an Andalite, she wanted to...
Yeah.
Taylor's power hungry. She wants to be Visser 3. That's what I think that was. That's probably making I'm thinking way too hard about it.
I thought part of her plan was to get Tobias's body.
Yeah,
well,
for sure.
That's also part of that plan.
I thought that was I saw that as like one of her biggest motivators, actually. Like, I'm sure she wanted like power because she's very power hungry.
So I said something earlier about Taylor radiates confidence, but I think that she is also ruled by fear. I mean, like, honestly, like, she's the same as Tobias. That's kind of the thing here, right? Is that, you know, she actually was being used by Visser 3, so she was being used herself. So she's exactly the same as Tobias, but made some key choices that he did not.
Right.
So, hey, you know, violence is a circle.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a thing. Has anyone studied that? Is that a thing?
It might be a thing.
Have you heard of that?
Have you seen this? You know what? Fuck it. Let's just go to a secret beach.
Yeah. So Rachel and Tobias the next day go on a little secret beach date. It's very cute. Rachel explains to everything. And she kind of woman-splains.
What?
To Tobias. She says, hey, no matter what you think, Tobias, Taylor's not your responsibility. Besides, how often is it possible to see the big picture really? Things happen fast. You just have to make the best decision you can and then go for it. You know what? I'd do the same thing again if I had to. And then she goes on to explain that with her, she just listens to her instincts. Tobias, not so much like that. Mm-hmm. And Tobias wonders, he says, was it over for Taylor? Did she blow through the hole in the Yeerkpool dome, lodge in a crevice of the tunnel till the gas pressure died, catch a crag of rock and hang on? Did she live? Would Taylor the girl ever live again? Would I ever stop caring? You never really know how some things will turn out, I said. A twig blew across the surface of a rock, swept along by the wind. I reached out to catch it. Rachel moved to stop it, too. Our hands collided gently. I took her hand. The twig blew past us and fell into a crack. Yeah, she answered, smiling. There's no real point in worrying about what you might have done. The past is the past, Tobias. Let it go.
You know how this is a great book?
How?
Because the book ends with a quote from Frozen.
That's right. Yeah, most good books end with the Frozen quotes. Finnegan's Wake ended with
I'm a lesbian eye switch.
Yeah. that was a very strange end for Finnegan's
Wake. I'll have to read
Wake.
that one.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. I guess like my last comment on this book is Rachel does kind of sound like Taylor a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, did Tobias just kind of replace one voice for another? Because Rachel's always kind of been in there too, right?
Yeah. Rachel's his rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like his rock of dependence.
Yes, yeah, no, I'm not saying that's healthy. I'm not saying it's healthy.
Yeah,
No.
They're very codependent.
God, no, that's not healthy at all.
So, I mean, like, did Tobias solve his problem?
I mean, no.
He solved a problem.
He solved a problem.
Blew it down a hole.
Yeah. Put all your problems in holes. Forget about them, is what Rachel's saying. I think he's in the early steps of solving his problem. He's replacing the voice who's telling him he's worthless or weak with, like, getting that voice out is the first step to anything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Which you have to do, especially someone who, like myself, admittedly, bad brain, not a good brain always telling me I'm bad.
Hate to see it, folks.
You hate to, yeah. But once you kind of start pushing that voice out, better things happen. So to me, this ends hopefully. Is it still toxic codependent, his thing with Rachel? Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Rachel is not the best person to help Tobias through his problems.
No, none of these other characters are. The only person who could have helped him, guess what? Dead. His dad or his mom, gone, dead. All of them.
Elfangor, you think Elfangor would be a good dad?
Yeah, you go out and get him some cigarettes and they'd smoke.
He loves those cylinders.
You got to have them white cylinders. No, what do you think, Space Goat and Nate?
How the book ends? I mean,
do you think this is good and healthy for Tobias? Like, where do you land on the end of this book?
Well, I like Rachel and Tobias, like their like relationship. It's like, as you said, it's like codependent and it's not healthy. But I think like given the situation they're in, I think it's definitely like an okay place for them to be in. I think Tobias like definitely grew. Like he's like worked past a little bit of his issues with Taylor, and he's at a point where he like understands some of his weaknesses, and like he's like grown from them. So I think the book is like, it's definitely helpful. I agree, Taylor.
What do you think, Nate?
So, as I said earlier, this is my favorite Animorphs book. And why is it my favorite Animorphs book? I think it's because it hits all the notes of good Animorphs books because like it's a small story, right? We're not going out into space. We're not saving a lost in society. We're not going to Atlantis.
No, the plot's not complicated. It's dig a hole.
Well, and also like the plot isn't important. Like the real plot is the internal monologue of a character, right? It's the Tobias solving one problem with himself, right? And wrestling with that and having some of those problems externalized and represented through plot beats, right? It's a well-structured story. I think that there's a lot we left on the table that we could have talked about because everything in here serves a purpose. Lost Boy in the beginning served a purpose.
Yes.
Being captured and just being treated as a bird, it serves a purpose.
Right.
Every single chapter serves some sort of purpose of helping Tobias come to certain conclusions. Right? And this whole book could have been just a throwaway, we're having a wacky adventure with Taylor and she's mean.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
No, like this book does the one thing, it does both things right, I think, in it being a perfect Animorphs book. It captures the Animorphs energy and it doesn't do the typical Animorphs cop-out. There's no cop-out in this book.
Do they win?
No. No,
yeah, they don't really.
They don't escape. They don't win.
They don't die, and that's the success for the Animorphs. It's like they didn't die this time,
right? There's no like, oh, the Elemist undid everything kind of thing.
Right,
this is they live with this now,
right? And it's they live with what exactly? Because they didn't go through with any sort of like mass death scenario. They were gonna.
They chose they know that they're capable of it.
I suppose, but that wasn't the point of this book.
No. It
was more of like the moral challenge was actually a scaffolding for how does Tobias make decisions, right? Because this book has certain key morals. One of them is how does Tobias make a key themes. How does Tobias make a decision? Why does he think this way? How do people think in general? What are they governed by? Those kind of questions. And that's cool.
That's very cool.
That's cool for a children's book. And it's even cooler that they don't come away with, here's exactly why they think like this. Instead, it's more of just like, shit, people are onions. We got layers, man. And sometimes that shitty top layer is poisonous and dangerous, and you don't know that there's a good onion there until you peel it off and throw it down a yerk hole.
Right.
Which happened to be Taylor.
Right.
It's never hard solutions. It's just progress. That's Tobias's win. He's never gonna get that fucking rainbow.
No.
But he will get a day at a secret beach.
Yeah. Not a day to not feel like shit.
That's right. He doesn't feel like shit today.
What a win.
He got to hold the hand of a girl.
So we all like this book.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Yeah.
This is a masterpiece.
It's not my favorite book because I really like book 29, but it's one of the best. It's one of the best, most well-written books. In terms of themes. And like Nate said, every chapter has a purpose.
And it's so fucking well written.
Yeah, it is.
I don't even know what else to say other than it fucking rules.
Yeah. I mean, I think we said all we need to say when talking about the book.
Yeah.
Because it structured it so well.
Yeah.
This conversation was super easy.
Yeah, really easy.
Yeah.
I didn't have to go digging because things are set to kind of layer an idea, think about the idea, come to some sort of conclusion. Next thing.
Yeah.
It's so nice. And that's what makes a good kid book, right? Like the themes are just ever present and easy to pick out. They're just right there. Just go get them. The Space Goat. You hate this book. Why do you hate this book?
I didn't say that.
he loves we all love the book.
Why do you love this book, Space Goat?
I like the book.
Why are you sweating? Why is it? I see it. I see the wetness.
Because you made him turn the fan off.
Yeah, we went over this 2 hours ago. Why do I like this book? Like I said, I like Rachel and Tobias, and there are like some good moments. And it's very relatable. It's very easy to understand what Tobias is thinking and relate it to yourself. So it is just fun. Like parts of it are pretty fun. Like the part where all the people are fighting over Tobias' cage.
I love that Axe is so good at eating that he almost dies because he ate so much. That was pretty good.
On brand. Space Goat, let me ask you this.
Right.
At what age did you read this book?
Today.
This is your first time reading this book?
Yeah.
That rules.
Because for a lot of these books, what I did is I would I watched the review, or I would listen to Animorph podcasts, figure out what they were about. I read a lot of Animorphs fan fiction. Is also how I figured stuff out. This is the first time I actually read through this particular book.
And that's kind of what I wanted to ask, because I know you said you didn't read it as a kid. Being older as an adult, does this? I would say this book is better now than when I read it as a kid. And so I'm wondering how this book affected you being an adult.
How it affected me? It actualized. I can understand some of the things I've gone through, I guess. I could when Tobias would say something, I could understand why he said that. And it could relate it to my own experiences. So
I think that's pretty powerful. That when I finished this book again, I was emotional. I was like, oh my God, I did not expect to have this reaction to this book. I'm 36 years old. What the fuck? So I think this book is truly remarkable. I think out of the whole read through we've been doing, Nate, only 2 of the books have made me have this response. And they're both Tobias books. And these books are bottled lightning. And I fucking love them. And I think if you have not read them and you don't really care about Animorphs, these are the ones you should read.
Yeah, but then again, also the Helmicrons, they really tell me something about myself.
Space Goat, tell the people where they can find you. Nate wants to get out of here and think about Helmicrons more.
Okay, we can find me. I will on Twitter.com. My Twitter handle is @thespacegoat2. So you can find me there. You will find some wonderful tweets.
If you were my son, I would kill the Space Goat 1 so you could have that at.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's
also, you have an account at earthisours.com.
Yeah.
So
//bandit.
How'd you find out?
Any parting words to the people out there, Space Goat?
My parting words are, I'm really happy that I got to do this because I've wanted to be on this podcast for as long as I've known about it, pretty much. So I'm really glad to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you.
Yeah, it was really easy. You just you dripped right in, and yes,
you're gonna slide right out.
Yeah, slide right out. They call him wet.
Yeah,
the world's wettest boy.
I'm trying to think of a good out. There's nothing. This gross wet boy. Get out of here.
Yeah, I'm gonna fuck your mom.
Get out of here, you wet child.